3.
Nah.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Red Rover Republic podcast. My name is Millie, and these are all of my fabulous co-hosts that we have today. We have Unrealness as usual, the older millennial, Mideast Peace, the opinionated girl, Intel guy, Nick Matau, and Logic and Liberty. How we feeling tonight?
Great.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Much better than Tim Walls.
Like a cutie patootie.
Oh my god, like a cutie patootie. All right, so I've gathered a lot of our favorite conservative content creators to discuss the future of the party, where we see it going, what changes we would like to make. And so I'm going to kick it off first with where do you see the future of the Republican Party? So toss it off to you, Older.
Honestly, if the Republican Party is acting the way they're acting right now, there's not going to be a future for the Republican Party. There's just going to be a bunch of people pretending to be conservatives while acting like moderates, and they're going to get dominated by Democrats like they paid for it.
I concur. Unrealness.
Yeah, no, he's
the
absolutely
future of the party.
He's absolutely correct. The problem we're seeing is that the Republicans are so desperate to maintain power that they're afraid to actually do anything. They're scared. They're scared for whatever reason, even though they're hearing us loud and clear. And if they don't wake up soon, we're basically screwed. It's just a fact.
Probably an unpopular take, but like I love the memes. I'm going to miss the memes, but at some point we got to stop doing memes and actually putting out policy and doing things. I think the Maduro raid was fantastic. That's actually doing something that's impactful. But at some point we have to put ourselves down into this whole standpoint where we do away with all the grippers, the infighting, all of the bullshit. We put it out there that bigotry has no place in the conservative movement. Go back to William F. Buckley. And actually stand on what it is to be a conservative. If we don't do that, I think it falls apart completely.
Agreed. Opinionated, where do you see the future of the party going?
I agree with what's been said before. I mean, the fact that we have control of the House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court for the most part, and pretty much nothing has been done. You have Pam Bondi and her never-ending investigations that lead to nothing. I think people need action, and I think that a lot of it falls onto the hands also of the Republicans at home, because I say this with love, a lot of them are lazy. We don't organize, we don't show up, we don't fundraise the same way that the left does, and I think that we need a little bit of a kick in the ass to get somewhere.
Intel guy, how about you?
Yeah, like everybody else said, and I think OM laid out the foundation as far as where we would be if we don't do anything. I think people need to remember that prior to Trump, the Republican Party were gracious losers, and that was really annoying. And so I'm glad Trump came along to turn that around. And you can tell in his plan that he's still trying to drag all these people across the finish line for such things as the big beautiful bill and the Trump what are those called, the Trump accounts. The fact that some of his executive orders have actually passed into law recently. You start seeing that action now, and I'm just wondering if that was either by design or not. Hopefully, though, or not hopefully, but I feel like Trump is trying to lay this foundation where the economy's booming in 26. Some of the laws have already been codified, and everything's just better based off of 2025 and 2024 and beyond, and that should be enough. But it's ridiculous that it took Trump and his team to even get us there. To your guys' point, the fact that we still have a large minority in the Republican Party that is willing to go back to the way it was is dangerous, and they need to be removed, and I just don't know exactly what to do about it.
Awesome. Nick, how do you feel? Where do you see the future of the Conservative Party?
Yeah, I think everyone's given a great answer. I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic in the sense that I think some things are a bit trendy. And I noticed in today's day and age, even in just the past 5 years, and I'm sure it's going to get more like this, that trendy things feel like they are going to last forever. And then all of a sudden you just wake up one day and you're like, hey, we're not really talking about that anymore. That person's podcast that we were calling a grifter last week is now at, in the bottom 50 and whatnot. And so, or not bottom 50, but like 50 rows down. And so, I think like, I hope that this kind of like grifting type people in the conservative movement will kind of phase out. That being said, I don't think that we should plan that way because that's not smart. Just like I hope they kind of go away. I think that people need to stand up for their morality and actually actively say it. Even if you think maybe some people aren't going to agree with you, you need to say, like, I don't really care if it's just this side or that side. I stand for my moralities and values, and let moralities and values and truth actually push forward, moving forward with the Conservative Party, and not just the fact that we have an R in our name or, we vote Republican.
Absolutely agree. And I think a lot of the creators on this panel have done a great job, like rebutting the narratives that are going on in the conspiracy side of the conservative aisle and trying to bring just a little bit of common sense back to the Conservative Party to not have people fall into those measures. Logic, where do you see the future of the conservative movement?
I think it's going to depend on how many people actually step up and get involved. I think we make a lethal mistake on the right by only paying attention and showing up for federal elections. I think we completely and utterly ignore our state politics. We ignore our state, like our school board, and then we wonder how these lunatics got in and took control of these institutions. It's because we go out, we vote federal, we vote for the president, and then we check out. I've always said the left is bonkers, the right is ineffective. And that's a big part of it, is we are not paying attention. We're not stepping up. We're not getting involved. We're not trying to find new candidates. We have in Colorado, there's no candidates. All right. But we have so many people who are common sense, liberty first. And that's all you need to combat the people who are going completely radical left. And yet we're not doing it effectively. So I would like to see personally, just on the civic engagement side, a huge step up. And that's going to play, I think, a big part in determining what is the fate of the Republican Party. If we continue to check out and let them take over, socialism is real, people, and it can happen. And if we don't step up and get involved in some way, we all play a different role. I don't know how much of a Republican Party there's going to be as far as combating what's going on the left.
Well said.
Absolutely. I'm going to touch base on where I think the future of the Conservative Party is moving. And I think it's going to be in a more sort of moderate angle. I think that's where the MAGA movement has kind of landed. The conservative movement is sort of closer to center. My problem and what I would like to see the future of the conservative movement do is have politicians and elect politicians with backbones. I'm tired of watching the conservative movement get constantly stepped on, watching politicians never stand up to anything, and be, in my opinion, just a little bit more cutthroat in the game of politics. I would love to see the conservative movement actually start paying attention to special elections. Go call your local office and see what are the upcoming elections. And I agree with Logic about, be proactive in your school board. I mean, even if you don't have kids, be proactive. Don't let the youth of our generation fall to socialism, fall to crazy leftist ideology. That's where I would like to see the future of the conservative movement. But if we don't do these things and we don't be proactive, I think we have a very strong possibility of falling to socialism and losing a lot of our rights in the process.
And could I disagree with you a little bit there? Just because, I think you're right that we see the conservative movement going more moderate, being more in the middle. And I think that is to the detriment of the Republican Party, because the reality is that most Americans are conservative. Most Americans are American minded or America first, very nationalistic. Now they're scared to say nationalist because it has such negative connotation that goes along with it. But they really are. And the reality is I can tell you, and here's just a little bit of inside baseball. When I went to Turning Point, in Turning Point Action, I can tell you right now that from their evaluations, they have some brilliant people working there, that if only registered Republicans voted, if we got 80% of registered Republicans, not even new voters, not moderates, nothing. If we got 80% of registered Republicans to go out and vote, we would win 50 states in a presidential election. There wouldn't be a single Democrat in Congress. That's the reality of it. That's what we need to recognize as conservatives, is that we are right. The American people agree with us. Problem is they're not motivated to vote. It's just like what Logic said with she had a live topic that I was perfect. She was like, the left is fucking insane. Didn't say fucking, but I always do. But and she said the right is ineffective. And she was that tagline right there defines our political process.
So what actions do you think that we could do to correct that? Because
Easy.
obviously Trump isn't going to be there to kind of drag us across the finish line. So what is the
It's super
solution to
easy.
being effective?
Elect politicians that do what they say they're going to do. It like politics is just like a relationship. Like, ladies, the sexiest thing a man can do is what he said he was going to do. Same thing with politicians. When politicians do what they say they're going to do, it's hot.
And I think the other thing too is I really would like to see us elevate the voices on the right who are actually doing things. Like, I don't know if you guys have been watching Tim Burchett. He's calling so much out left and right now. He's fighting the fight to cut our spending and get rid of the nonsense. And we need to call out those individuals who are voting with Democrats for these ACA subsidies and all of that nonsense. Like, I guess as creators, I would like to see us bring attention to those individuals we feel like are actually representing the people and truly there to do a job. And then 100% shine a light on the nastiness and the corruption of the individuals, like a Dan Crenshaw. What is he still doing in office? Like, what are we doing? How does that man have? Like,
he hasn't come up for
Worse than
election yet. He hasn't. The only reason he's still there is he hasn't come up for election yet. He's
Oh, he's
getting
cooked.
voted out he's getting voted
I
out
hope
in a
so.
hurry.
I will lose faith, Texas.
Unlike him, I have two eyes on the election.
Was Burchett the guy who put forward the pocket rescissions for that $9 billion? The initial Doge.
I think so. He was
Fox
just recent, and
decisions?
I think today he was appointed like chairman of Doge or whatever they did within
Yeah.
the House. But he's
makes sense.
making moves. I really like what he's been doing.
Yeah,
And I
like
think
him a
also
lot, too.
like getting attention to candidates who are worthy. I think that's one thing we can do as creators, and I think we need to do a better job of it, to be honest.
So I guess my next question would be, what do you think is dividing the Republican or the conservative party right now? I'll start with Older.
So what's dividing the Republican Party is conservatism versus republicanism. Right now, like, people think loyalty to the Republican Party is what's important. And the problem is that people need to recognize that the Republican and the Democrat parties, they're just 501c4s. They're just like Turning Point Action. They're just like so many other organizations. They're not actually part of our political party, part of our political process. You don't need to have loyalty to them. What you need to do is have loyalty to the actual values, the conservatism, the constitutionalism. That's what you need to have loyalty to. And the problem is we need to stop focusing on getting elected and stop focusing on doing what the American people actually believe in. So the divide is people in government trying to get reelected, people thinking I need to support them but not being happy about it, versus having somebody to vote for that you can actually believe in. Somebody like Tim Burchett, somebody who embodies conservatism, embodies constitutionalism, where you are excited to go vote for this guy. Like, we need to eliminate the Lindsey Grahams, the Mitch
Agreed.
McConnells, the guy that people vote for because they're like, the other guy sucks, right? That's what we need. We need to eliminate the apathy of the election process.
Agreed. Unrealness, what do you think is dividing the conservative movement?
I think people are way too focused on the superficial nonsense. I think that sensationalism has overtaken us, much like how the left acts. They focus too much on the benign, like with the Candace situation and everything else going on, and they're not actually focusing on the end goal. And they get distracted quite easily, just like most people do, because we like to be entertained, and we stop losing focus on what actually matters the moment we get sucked into these stupid quagmire. So yeah, I think that's what's ultimately dividing us, is because they're basically pitting us versus us with this infighting. And I think we need to stop looking at these obvious paid for influencers that are I can't allegedly, right? I can't really prove anything, but it seems quite obvious when you look at people like Candace Owens, you look at people like the Hodge twins. It seems quite obvious to me that there's something else going on there. It is breaking our focus and what we need to be doing, and that is showing up to vote. Just like Logic was saying earlier, people are too focused on getting the federal elections and not so much on their own elections that are close to home. So we got to stop focusing in on these influencers and actually, keep our eye on the prize.
Absolutely. Mideast, what do you think is dividing the conservative movement?
Well, everything that Unrealness just said, like 100% agree. I would say the other thing is that we're seeing politics and politicians become reality television stars, where everything's dramatized. None of it's authentic anymore. Not locking on people that are actually true to what they say, talk the talk and walk the walk. And what is driving me absolutely nuts is that the American people are just going with it. They're buying into it. They're renewing their subscription. You know, they got access to, you know, the Real Housewives of DC, and it's all just, it's bullshit now. Like I'm sorry, but if you're having to stage everything like we're seeing on the left, over dramatize things to get voters to go and vote for you, right? And you're worried about your next election instead of what's in front of you right now on your desk that you can actually pass or move for to get something done. It's the same thing on the conservative side, except for it's flipped. It's who can say the most hyperbolic shit and put something out there like, let me be a Thomas Massey or an MTG and say that I'm going to release all the names of the people in the Epstein files, and then not freaking do it. Just choke when it's time to do something. Like, you're full of shit. You're not standing on what you're saying. You're just saying the most hyperbolic thing you can possibly say to get people to come vote for you. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to call out as creators, and that other people, other Americans need to just say, enough is enough, do something or resign. Like, that's fine.
And could I just say, Mideast, like you'd point out the politicians are being more like content creators, and content creators are being more honest like politicians should be. Like, they're going for the line, they're going for the clip, and they shouldn't be. We do that. We're
waiting for
whores
Jasmine's
that.
podcast.
Yeah.
Waiting for Jasmine Crockett's podcast at this point, bro.
It's acceptable for us to be doing it. It's not acceptable for our politicians to continue to do that, right? Like,
I agree. It's the over promising and under deliver. Just be honest and realistic about what you can deliver, because all of this over promising leads to broken promises. And then people go, well, you didn't get me everything that I wanted. You said we would have this. We didn't get it. It's like, I said this the other day on my live. It's kind of like the Dursley child in Harry Potter. And he's like, last year I got 37. He didn't get all the presents he wanted under his tree. So he's going to throw
Thank you for the accent.
Absolute fit. But I think that's also a problem. Nick, what do you think is dividing the conservative movement?
Probably the Jews. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it! Stop it! It's Israel, obviously.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's
like,
the Mossad.
I think Unrealness said something very interesting that I want to expand on. I had a talk with Misfit Patriot the other day, and he brought up a good point. He said, like, when it comes to Candace, some months ago, he did the same thing with Andrew Tate. He went after him, made a lot of content, but then after a while, when people start to see that turning point with how ridiculous some of these conservative creators are, and now their comments have kind of flipped to mostly negative, he just kind of moves on from them. And it's because at that point you're just giving attention. I think in some cases it's important to give attention, actually call out these things. I don't know if you guys saw the Hodge twins. Have you guys ever noticed the difference how the Hodge twins talk on X versus how they post on Facebook? On X,
they're
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up.
They're courting different audiences.
Exactly.
I might be insane. I cannot
I'm not
hear
on
Nick.
Facebook, so I have no idea.
You can't hear me?
I can hear everybody except Nick.
I hear Nick.
I hear
Nick.
Oh, that's,
Man, that's
crazy.
crazy.
I hear everybody else, just not him.
He said very horrible things about Israel.
Yeah, I believe that.
Maybe you have me muted or something. I don't know if there's a way to mute an individual panel. I have no idea. I don't know why I'm talking to you as if you can hear me. I don't.
I have no idea what's being said by Nick.
Anyways,
And maybe drop down opinionated and rejoin and see if that fixes the issue.
We're all laughing. She's even more confused. That's
yeah, she's like, what are you guys laughing at?
She just saw us all react, and she was like, something was funny.
Something was funny.
So to wrap it up, though, what's dividing the Republican Party? I think like a part of it's like our fault. And when I say our, I mean like not just Republican or conservatives. I just kind of mean like mankind. And a lot of it is just the natural progression of things. I believe, and you can look to this, the start of Obama was kind of the start of being like, he was the first president to say, I'm drawing this line and I will not work with the other side. Now, whether you say that's a good thing, bad thing, that's not really the point. The point is that then the Republicans said, okay, well, we're fine. We're going to do that too. It's never gone back since. And so when you add that right at the time of the crux of social media, you have now this, as conservatives, we kind of are already distrusting, especially when it comes to the government. We have that natural feel. There's always going to be grifters. I don't care if it's left, right, or anything in between. And so people, they play on that. It just works sometimes more with the conservatives because we're naturally distrusting. So when you have someone saying, I don't know, but I know, and like JFK this and the Jews this and Israel and Qatar and Tucker, and you have all this, people are going to eat that up. I don't really blame them, I guess.
I don't have concrete evidence, but no, I'm just kidding. All right.
But I know.
I was told.
I
don't know.
I didn't read that in the indictment. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, go
They
ahead.
parentheses.
Wait,
That's my
Opinionated, can you
favorite.
hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can.
Okay,
I feel
perfect.
for you, Opinionated.
All right. Go ahead, Opinionated. What do you think is dividing the conservative movement?
I think some of the niceness that we've talked about before, I feel like for a long time, I mean, people remember 2016 to like 2020, I would say it was at its peak that I've been alive, where the left was out there just doing horrific things to people, literally destroying lives over nothing. And because the right didn't have a backbone, we watched this happen to people, and the people that should have been defending us, standing up for us, fighting for us, didn't do that. And then that left an entire generation, I feel, feeling very disenfranchised from politics as a whole because the people who promised to protect us didn't live up to those expectations. It's why I honestly feel very bad for a lot of the grapers, where I feel like it's like lost kids almost, where they've become so full of hate from the things that have happened to them or people that they see, and they see like all these people who have been canceled and never got to come back to anything because of a tweet from 10 years ago. So I think that we need to have a strong line of, this is what we believe in. We want you in our movement, but you have to uphold these standards. But also, we're not going to let the left walk over you in the same way that happened before. Like, you have a voice here and you can speak up, and we are here for you, and we're going to fight back. We're not just going to let the left dog walk us time and time again.
Millie, you're muted.
Sorry, I did mute myself. My mistake. Sorry. Intel guy, what do you think is dividing the conservative movement? Also, a very based, opinionated girl. I agree with that. Go ahead.
First of all, I agree with everybody else, and I would go on too long of a rant on how much Candace Owens is evil and Tucker Carlson is a grifter and is not really grounded in the conservative movement at all. But I think people need to be reminded of what the conservative movement actually means. And that's not talked about enough. And then even if it is mentioned, it's not, you have to actually do a deep dive. You actually have to have enough patience to do a deep dive into what each statement means. So like individual liberty, limited government, strong national defense, social values. Like those are great taglines or, quick ways to say it, but each one is a long discussion. And nobody really knows. So when they hear national defense, you get these hawks coming in like the Lindsey Graham types. They're like, oh, that means we need to invade every country and be there forever. Where in reality, it's more of the Trump approach, right? Where it's like, I'm just going to hit you with a missile and then tell you, never, don't make me come back, right? That's what strong national defense is, right? But then they conflate what it is, and then so you get people afraid. Of promoting strong national defense, and you get all these isolationists that don't understand what the hell they're talking about. And so again, it gets them around to this ignorance that largely exists, and then then grifters get to spread that or take advantage of that ignorance and create all this propaganda, and then we have our ridiculous conservative Republican Party civil war that shouldn't even exist. So yeah, it's really about educating them on what the conservative movement, what it really means, because I don't think anybody really knows.
I have to say that the conservative civil war should exist, because we do not need to be the big tent party. We need to be the conservative values party.
And if they understood those values, then they could decide if they want to be in it or not, right? Like, but they don't. They don't even know. So.
You're 100% right.
The crazy thing is we already have these values, though. It's like, it's not like it's changed. It's just the people and what's become popular on social media has changed. It's not like our values have changed.
That's the problem, though. If you change with the wind, if you change with what the people say, you never really believe that in the first place. And that's the problem. I think a lot of our politicians are like, well, this is what the people want. It's like, how about you express your own values, you piece? I'm right.
You're muted.
Amelia, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I keep muting myself. It's always telling people exactly what they want to hear instead of what they actually believe in and what they actually intend to vote with. Logic, go ahead and tell us what you think is dividing the conservative movement.
I mean, you guys covered a lot, and it's probably going to sound like I'm beating up on the right tonight. But it's, it's accountability, guys. You'll be okay. So what I'll say is, I think a lot of times on the right, we tend to put ego above mission. And what the Democrats in Colorado have done very well is they realize they may disagree on certain policy points, but they know that they're better off with a Democrat in office than a Republican. If we could absorb that mindset, we could actually have wins, but we cannibalize each other over the most ridiculous things when we look at the big picture. All right. The primary, like, let's work together. Let's not cannibalize. Let's not kick each other out of races. Let's not primary candidates who are doing good things in the House because you hate one stance they have. Like, what are we actually doing in that regard? Now, I'm not saying we don't primary out the Dan Crenshaws, the Lindsey Grahams, right? Those are very clear establishment. We want people's candidates. If they're a people's candidate and maybe you don't fully agree on their abortion stance, like, you're better off with them in office than a Democrat. So, like, let's support these people and quit getting so hung up on these like tiny issues when in the grand scheme of things, like, I don't want any more socialist mayors. I don't want socialist governors. Like, we've got to get back to focusing on liberty, constitutional principles, conservative values, and common sense, for the love of God. And that is easily a winning solution. That's why it's like so crazy to me that midterms are even a discussion right now, because it shouldn't be with how crazy the left is. It's frustrating.
And just to go over what Logic said real quick, what people forget all the time is that they'll see a Senate representative say something they disagree with. And what they'll forget is that they live in Virginia, and that senator is from Colorado, or they'll be in Alabama, and that senator's in Colorado. And what they fail to recognize, because that senator from Colorado will take a moderate approach, and they'll be like, well, that's not what I want. I want a hardcore conservative. And they'll forget that senator is not there to represent them. They are there to represent the people of Colorado. Like, people forget, like, people want to nail Nancy Pelosi and be like, she did all this liberal shit. She was from San Francisco. She represented the people of San Francisco. Now, I'm not saying Nancy Pelosi did good things, but the reality is, if you live in Arkansas and you hear Nancy Pelosi speak, yeah, she doesn't fucking represent you, because she doesn't represent you. So what we need to understand is that hold your local. Like, if my senator says shit I don't agree with, shit on them. Shit directly in their mouth. But if somebody in a liberal state says something you disagree with, maybe they're representing their state differently. What we need to understand is that just like being a Republican doesn't mean the same thing in every state. Being a Republican in California means you got a knife fight for everything you want to get done. Being a Republican in Alabama means everybody's going to agree with you. So it's a trade-off. We have to remember where these people are from.
I agree. I'm just going to touch base on where I think the division in the Conservative Party is at right now. And I honestly think it's the debate between isolationism and interventionism. What people think is America first and what people don't think America first is. And I think that that's probably one of our biggest conflicts right now, is that, in my opinion, I think that we're very close to the brink of World War III. And I think that kind of happened the second that Russia decided to tiptoe into Ukraine. And I think that there's been a Cold War, and I agree with Intel Guy over the Cold War allegedly happening between us and China. And there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to get involved in stuff overseas. And I kind of just want to stick to ourselves and kind of ignore geopolitics. And I think that there is some real truth to that, but then there's also stuff that you just absolutely can't ignore. And when I see China building 400 naval ships, that's just something I just can't ignore. I have to say, hey, we gotta look at that and be concerned about where that leads. And China and Russia and Iran doing naval operations together is also something that I find deeply
Yeah.
concerning. And so I think, you know, when people see the strikes happening in Iran and the strike that happened and grabbing and snatching Maduro, I think that currently is shaking up the party a little bit, and there's discussions that need to be had about whether or not the conservative movement is going to be interventionist or isolationist. So I'll kick it off with older millennial about where you lie.
Well, I would say it's not interventionist versus isolationist. I would say it's kind of three. It's either you're imperialist, which is where America's like, I took it, it's mine. Possession is 9/10 of law. I licked it, it's mine, type of thing. And I mean that like that's something to do with it. Like I made a video talking about like, yo, if we kept Venezuela, let me tell you the cool shit that would happen, right? Right. But there's
I gotta
also
change my pants.
but I mean that's one way to look at it. But the reality is that, and I cannot wait for it to get around to Intel guy for this, because I'm going to say something that he's either going to really agree with or super disagree with.
We'll jump to him immediately after this.
I'll open the panel up so that it's
is
less
that anybody that's worried about World War III, shut the fuck up. Because like the reality is like to wage war against the United States, you have to have the ability to project power. No nation in the world. Like America's military is not tough because of our weapons. I mean, it's awesome, right? But the reality is our ability to project power is what makes us strong. Our logistics is what makes us strong.
Putting a Burger King anywhere in the world in 24 hours.
We just dropped that
Right?
shit down.
Yeah.
You want a Whopper? You want a Whopper? Any Taliban dude? We got you, right? And that's how we're able to do it. Like our logistics is unbeat. But the reality is that World War III is not a possibility. Like Russia cannot defeat the little country that's on their border. China has no ability to project power. If they tried to take Japan, they get beat like a redheaded stepchild. The reality is that nobody can challenge us militarily. Now, that doesn't mean that I want us to dominate militarily, but we also have to recognize that when you're the biggest swinging dick in the world, use it economically, use it legislatively. And that's what Trump's doing. He's looking at Greenland and going, if we wanted to fuck you up, we could. But I'd love to make a deal, right? He's using his power to negotiate. And that's what you should do. When you're the big guy in the room, you should tell people, hey, look, I'll let you go if you give me $100. And that's what Trump's doing. Trump is using America's power the way we should have always used it. And it shouldn't be isolationist because we are the dominant power in the world. But also, it shouldn't be, I'm going to be a welfare state. So it's a balance, but never forget that America, we are the gangster of the world. We could tell the world what to do and they would do it. Like, and we shouldn't do that, but we should maybe a little bit, just
A little
few
bit.
countries.
Well, my problem is I think that Biden was so weak for so long, and people did not see us as a superpower for like 4 whole years. And I think that Putin and Xi Jinping and, you know, Iran, they all thought they could just do whatever the fuck that they wanted because daddy wasn't home. So now that daddy's home, daddy just broke out the belt and is just out there slapping the shit out of everybody and going, you're going to get in line, you're going to get in line, and you're going to like it and tell me that you want it again. I mean, that's where I think that we're at. But
Well, look, Intel guy, I want to go to you. I'm going to do a quick response. I think older millennial is absolutely correct, but I think it's also very important to highlight that we don't want to appear to be a paper tiger. We want to show them that the power that you think we have is fucking real. It's real. Right. This isn't some kind of myth. We're not some kind of legend. We have what you think we have, and probably more so. So you should be fearful of us. And I think
I do want to point out we snatched a foreign leader in 35 minutes.
Exactly. And that type of thing. What we did in Iran, whether
if
you agree
your
or disagree
leader doesn't
with it,
behave, we will take him.
Right. And what we did in Iran, we were able to go out, hit that facility. What we took out, we grabbed Maduro, pulled him out of his bed with his wife in the middle of the night within 90 minutes. We are showing how actually strong we are. We're not we're not a paper tiger. And I think that's important that we actually show the world that. I think it's very important. I want everyone to be terrified of us as they should be. But Intel guy, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's great.
go ahead.
All right. So I agree with honestly all three of you, and let me just tie all three together. So one of my second TikTok ever was me predicting that Russia was going to do something when Biden was in office, and that was proven right. Why? Because Biden, we knew it from the beginning, was going to present us paper tiger. The U.S. government's job is to plan for every single contingency, no matter how small it is, and so and for every worst case scenario, no matter how small. This is why we have so many nuclear weapons, right? Because, and so to Millie's point, we do not want to be put in a position where we get pulled in to a war, right? And so the only person that can decide that for us is the president of China, right? It is up to him, and so we want to make sure in his decision calculus that it is an untenuous decision, as in it is the worst. If you go, you're going to lose, and this is why. And so, Trump has done this, or I think Trump is starting to do this by increasing, as much as I don't agree with the increase, increasing the budget to 1.5 trillion, is showing our capabilities through not just through our ability to launch a B-2 bomber from Montana and have it hit you anywhere in the world. The ability to snatch a leader so fast that you didn't even see or hear us coming till it was too late, and we used technology that completely decimated your people. Like, they were vomiting and profusely, and they were like letting their body go due to certain technologies that we launched on the ground right before we busted in the door and took the guy. And I remember I was talking about these technologies like 10 years ago. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Anyway.
I
do a little trolling.
Are you? I don't want to interrupt you until you're done.
No. And so no, I'm not, because
okay.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
Look,
Go ahead, cook.
My whole shtick has been, is it World War III yet? Pointing out the fact that no, it's not, right? It's nowhere near World War III, but it could be if we don't show the world how awesome we are, and that's exactly what we're doing. And so, because of Trump and because of everything that's happening, Golden Dome and everything else, we are so far away from World War III currently. That doesn't mean that China they're still going to do the things they need to do, because they still have to give their leader the ability to make the decision. But that's our goal, is to make sure that, hey man, we know you've prepped for this for years, but if you go, you recognize you're going to get wrecked in the first 24 hours. So
I just want to point out that Intel guy completely agreed with me. Just saying.
I think
That's not what I heard.
I would like just to throw this in there, and I think you take this with a grain of salt, but ideological subversion is something that I talk about. The process with the KGB developed to take out the United States without ever having to fire a single bullet, to take us out from within. And that ties back into what Millie was pointing out beforehand, is that if we can't identify the differences between conservatives and Democrats, liberals, progressives, whatever they're wanting to call themselves these days, the whole standpoint is that this is a process that's been enacted for quite some time, that's been regurgitated by other regimes. I'm looking at the Muslim Brotherhood, Qatar. I'm looking at those other countries who I think have repurposed it and used it within the United States. And we've seen it. I mean, go back to the elders of the Protocols of Zion and what Russia did with their disinformation campaign and Operation SIG. And you can tie that back and how it can be implemented in the United States. And Muslim Brotherhood, they, by all intents and purposes, 100-year plan. China, if you look at China and their strategy, they play the long game. These are things that I'm worried about. But at the same time, piggybacking off what you said, that this could push us into a World War III scenario where we're left with no choice, and you have an American public that's at war with each other or turning on one another, and so divisive that it becomes opportunistic for these countries to do something. And that's something that I'd like to see taken care of. But at the same time, I think one of the biggest things that you see going out there is 1.5 trillion, like Intel guy pointed out, to defense spending. All of these things that are building all of this up, and going back to those battleships that Millie pointed out, I want to know what the displacements of those ships are going to be. I'm just genuinely curious. Are we getting more fishing boats or
submarines?
The submarines. I want to know like what all these things are, but at the same time, these are the kinds of things that I worry about that could draw us into something if America isn't constantly on the ready, constantly sharpening the tip of that spear and actually doing like we did with Maduro, like we did in Iran. I want to keep our enemies on their toes.
I think
And-
something that like most folks on the right, and I would say all Americans, right? We have a hesitation from Iraq and Afghanistan. We just do. Like everyone assumes that any action we take now on any type of foreign policy standpoint or any intervention or any military action is going to draw us into a 20-year war. And I understand that hesitation. I had it for a long time. I did. And I think it's much easier to say like, nope, never again. We're just not going to do anything. We're going to be isolationists. The fact of the matter is, though, we can't be. I don't think it's realistic with how intertwined our economies are, with how big China has grown. Like, we can't just sit here and hope no one does anything bad, right? I just don't have enough faith that China's just in Latin America for economic reasons, right? It's not going to stop there. So I think we have to get very real with what the threats are. Now, am I saying we should go take over everyone? No, because I also don't think we have the money for that. So I think we need to be I know, boys, settle down. I'm trying to be a little practical here. I'm pulling in the household budget a little bit, all right? Okay. So, like, we need to be
But all the
realistic too and
toys.
strategic. I know. We can go boom booms.
Somebody say oil.
But all
We
the
have to be, like,
countries though.
No.
resources.
There's so many
You have
to
to be
choose
strategic.
from.
Like, but if people actually sat down and looked at Greenland, once you start to assess it, it makes a whole lot of sense with the shipping lanes that are opening up there. Like, it's a huge strategic point. Trump was the first one to really bring attention to that. And so there are things that are happening that are for the benefit of the United States. I think we just have to kind of like remove the cloud of PTSD of the war in the Middle East. We need to assess each situation in its own situation, right? And not apply, like, people trying to compare Venezuela with Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, I'm sorry, it's not a comparison. Stop doing that. So there's a lot of nuance with foreign policy. People attempt to use some critical thinking skills and not the people on the panel. You guys are all very intelligent, brilliant people. I'm talking to the public at large.
That
Somebody
last
say
part you said
oil.
there, that last part you said there about, that it's not the same, the Middle East, Venezuela, not the same. I also wish that Americans would realize that just because we were in a 20-year war, right? That not every situation, not every war that we could possibly be drawn into is going to be a 20-year war.
Right.
It might not even be a year war or a month war, right? It could be over very quickly.
We can just
And
snag
we can't
everyone's
be
presidents.
afraid. We can't be afraid of that when it has to do with asserting American dominance and also making sure that everybody's on the up and up and doing what they should be doing, interacting with us and not doing things that are adversarial to the United States without us squashing it down and saying, hey, now you get the no stick, right? Like,
But just to play the generational card, every generation has dealt with the same thing, whether it was the generation after Vietnam or the generation after
Korea.
World War II or the generation after Korea or like everybody has dealt with this where they see an example of war that we don't want to get involved in again. And they
Okay.
say, okay, and then they judge every conflict after that. And the reality is, like, this is what I love so much about the Venezuela thing. Is people were like especially people like Chris Valenti. We're like, this is going to be a war. You're going to struggle. It's going to be a fight. And we were like, yo, we our entire operation in Venezuela took 2 minutes less than Avatar: Fire and Ash. But if you went to see Avatar: Fire and Ash, just the movie, not the
What a
previews,
crazy standard of time.
not the crazy shit. No, like, forget the previews, forget everything. If you just watch the movie, you didn't even stay for the after credit scene. It's 3 hours and 17 minutes. We
why
went
I
to
will never see it.
Venezuela in 3 hours and 15 minutes and snatched a motherfucker and his wife. Right? And look, I got to give him credit. He was wearing some Nike fucking combat. It was good shit. But we snatched his ass in 2 minutes less than a movie. So,
Did you
like,
know that it was also shorter than Will's coming out scene as gay on Stranger Things?
Stop! Oh my god!
brother,
Crazy.
I'll tell you what.
That's
I'll
the
tell you what.
Stranger Things.
That
But it's
monologue was
defi-
also longer.
But it's definitely going to be longer than Harry's coming out scene. So it's
Why,
fine.
Oh my gosh.
why was the dialogue I don't like girls or I don't what was it?
I think that's what he said. Yeah, I don't like
yeah,
girls.
That,
Look,
that-
I do want to
Well,
point
you know
out.
what the crazy thing? Anyone that's seen Stranger Things,
Girls
like
are icky.
nobody was confused by that. You really didn't need to tell us. We've known since season 1.
I do want to point out though that anybody, whether it's on this panel or in the chat or anybody who sees this after, if you recommended Stranger Things to your friends could punch you in the face.
Oh my god!
It depends on when they recommended it. If they
Really?
recommended it
Oh
prior
my
to Volume
God.
2, I agree. Or no,
Well,
I don't
I-
agree. If they
It was
recommended it prior
so
to Volume 2.
garbage.
After its season.
Never seen it. I
No.
really think
I was
too-
recommended-
Joe's wrong. It's a great show.
No,
unless
I
they
was-
recommended
I was
it after
recommend-
Volume 2.
I will tell you right
Twice,
now, I
twice.
was recommended Stranger Things at this Christmas.
Thank you, Mom.
Guys, we're losing the female vote here, guys.
Yeah,
All right.
Maddie wanted to talk real
Did
quick.
somebody say
Go ahead,
oil?
Maddie.
Hold on, wait. Guys, stick around. On Realness, he'll take his shirt off.
Oh,
Stop!
I think too,
Go
like
ahead, Maddie.
this thing of isolationism versus like foreign policy, whatever you want to call it. I think that it seems a little bit sudden, and the more you look into it, like, not to be Candace Owens, not just to be asking questions, but I think that we had uncovered some really shady shit, especially when Elon Musk allowed for all those X accounts to show exactly where they were coming from. And so many of these very staunch America First profiles were like from Pakistan, where it's like, okay, well, why would you be pushing this certain type of narrative unless you know that isolationism to the extreme that it's being pushed is inherently harmful to the United States? And that's why you're trying to put us in this situation. It's not a surprise that Qatar and Russia have used bots in the past to try to influence public opinion. And really quick, interesting tidbit with you guys talking about Biden and everything like that. I thought it was interesting. There was an Israeli hostage who came out and said that his treatment under Biden by Hamas completely changed as soon as Trump took office. They started treating him far better. And I think that just goes to show that nobody took Biden seriously, and having him in office, I honestly think contributed to a lot of tragedies.
I am going to say, I think Donald Trump is kind of the first of his kind. And I don't know if you guys can point out another president that was able to accomplish this. The first of his kind that's like able to go in there, backhand a state leader, and then like withdraw. and then everyone
basically-
behaves for a little
Basically,
bit.
Trump.
Right,
Basically,
yeah.
Trump was the pullout king. So it was
So-
amazing. He was like, he didn't stay. There was no child. Nothing happened. He was just like, I'm in, I'm out,
That's crazy.
and we're good.
I just
crazy.
I do want to say real quick, like with to wrap up with what everyone's saying with the Venezuela versus like Iraq and Afghanistan, we have to look. I mean, Joe's right. There's generational trauma with different Vietnam, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, all of that. But the problem is, one, wars are not fought that way anymore. But two, instead of also looking at the different generations and different wars and saying, oh, this is the same thing, we also have to look at the different presidents. Donald Trump, and I don't always agree with him, but he's done things and I'm like, that didn't end up the same way. Not just with Maduro being captured, the Houthi strikes that he did in Yemen. It was 2 months of strikes and it was done. You have Soleimani in Iran. That's going to lead us to World War III. He did it. Nothing happened. You have the airbase missile strike in 2017 with Syria. The drug trafficker vessel strikes. Like, everyone keeps saying this is going to lead the B-2 bombers at the Iran nuclear site. It's
Abu
definitely
Bakr al-Baghdadi died like a dog.
died like a dog.
He
Died
said
like
it-
a dog.
I'm gonna be real. He said it
A
saucy.
beautiful dog. A beautiful dog.
I would have
And-
cried.
I'm not gonna get any credit for this. I never do. I'm gonna write a book. But no, I mean, you got you have people saying this is gonna lead to World War II. Trump has not done this once. He's not done it twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, maybe more. He has done
World War
this.
II already happened.
Oh, sorry, World War. I TOO, a World War II. Also, yeah, World War III.
Grammar is key.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's going to lead to World War III. That's what people keep saying. The problem is I don't know if they are actually coming from, like, they're actually trying to help and they're actually nervous and they're actually saying, like, I don't want this for my country, or if they're pushing other mouthpieces. And who are those mouthpieces? And that's what I actually want to know. And I hate to say it because I don't want to think that the Conservative Party has been infiltrated. But when you look at Mideast brought up Operation SIG before. That was Russian disinformation. That specifically we still hear to today. And then you also look at the Muslim Brotherhood's 100-year plan or 100-year doctrine, right? We're about halfway through that. 100-year plan didn't start yesterday. We're about 50 years, give or take, into this idea. And you have the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, specifically in his words, his own philosophical thinkings and aspects, talking about how we need to stop doing jihad like we normally do. We need to start infiltrating, religious sects. We need to start looking into academia, politicians, lobbying. And so you see these things, and yeah, we need to put more focus on it to see if it actually is real or not, or how real it actually is, instead of just assuming that it's actually nothing.
Well, could I say that, like Nick's last point about them finding different ways to implement their 100-year plan is he's 100% right. Like, if we look at United States universities, the top universities, the top 9 out of 10 contributors to those universities are Middle Eastern countries. So it's like they have adapted. They've recognized that jihad is not, now you're still going to get the poor people will jihad, but jihad doesn't accomplish your goal, and they've recognized that. And we have to recognize that, like, if we look at Harvard, Stanford, Penn, pick your top college, right? Like, whatever was your top pick. The top 10 contributors to American top level universities, 9 of them are Middle Eastern countries. Now,
you know how much money,
why would they do that? Why would Qatar invest in Harvard?
You know how much money they have given in 20 years? Just Qatar alone. I'm not even talking about the 9. $6.25 billion into our universities.
Yeah. Now, why would they do that? Like, you look at a country like Qatar, which is a sexual trafficking capital of the world. They have slaves. They're an awful nation. Like, I can't believe we have military bases there. But the reality is that they have discovered new ways to integrate into public universities, to integrate into our colleges, because as adults, we're too stupid to believe in a religion founded by a pedophile. So they got to go at the kids.
Well, you're absolutely correct, but yeah, the jihad never stopped, right? You're absolutely correct. It's about converting and then ultimately outbreeding everyone else. It's both those things.
So and they be fucking like champs.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're breeding and they're converting.
Why does everyone have a fucking goat?
What is
am I not part of the goat club?
I have to ask
what
the
is
panel.
going on?
I have to ask the panel. What the fuck is the goat thing? Like, here's the thing. I want to be clear. I spent many, many years in the Middle East. If I asked a local Middle Eastern guy what the goat thing was, he would tell me something completely different.
Oh my god!
Mid-East purpose of the goat is different.
They're killing us. They're killing us.
So if you turn it backwards, you get the pro-pallies to come in and debate you more.
No.
They get attracted to it. And then
if you turn it backwards, we'll get all the Muslims on a Friday night.
So,
exactly. That's my point.
All right, let's let unrealness speak, you guys.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Order.
They're killing us culturally. They're indoctrinating our youth, and they're outbreeding us. Okay, it's on multiple fronts. They don't have to kill any of us, guys. They don't have to come after any of us. All they have to do is go after our children, or go after our youth, and indoctrinate them and outbreed us. That's it. And we slowly start to fade away out of existence. That is the main goal. They can kill us without raising a gun or raising a sword. That's the objective.
Ideological subversion repurposed. You just said it right there.
I just wanted to show you guys.
I went with the definition and not just the word. Okay, Mideast, thanks.
I wanted to show you guys kind of like an example of like conservatives that I think a lot of us at some point had listened to, but somehow it's the ideological subversion that I think is going on here. What is this?
Stop, Armin. So the Islamic regime right now is literally broadcasting Tucker Carlson interviews in Persian on their 24-hour news channel. The country is in a state of chaos, and yet for some reason, the Islamic regime is choosing to play Tucker Carlson interviews because this is like, it's Islamist propaganda. I'm just filming this right now because if I didn't do this, no one would believe. This is literally what's going on in occupied Iran right now.
And this is why I think that we have influencers on the conservative side of the aisle that are, in my opinion, bought and paid for by certain organizations to try to steer people away from American conservatism. I literally watched Tucker Carlson go up on stage and say that he was disgusted by the quote Islamophobia that's going on with the conservative movement. How do you guys feel about that?
I saw it live. It was in
As
front.
if
He was in
God
front
not-
of me when he said it.
I bet
Sorry.
11 is a conspiracy theory, as in if it never happened.
Yeah.
We know it is. We know that they are. And this is not to be messy. I'm not about that stuff. But I mean, there are a whole host of conservative influencers who were flown off to Qatar to go watch the F1 race. This is just a fact. And I think that's really interesting that Qatar would randomly decide to spend their money on that, especially when you put it next to the fact the amount of money that they're spending on these woke radical left universities. Why would they pump so much money into the left and pump so much money into the radical right at the same time, unless they wanted it to clash heads, because they know the only way they'll bring us down is from the inside. So they're playing both sides, and we're the ones who are going to come out on the losing end.
Agreed. Older millennial, you probably weren't here. I just played the video of Tucker Carlson out on the.
Oh no, I made a video about it.
you
I
saw
know that
that?
video.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, let's be real. Like the Iranian state TV gets to decide what they're going to play to their people. They're going to decide what's going to make them feel like the people are on their side. So if you get played, that doesn't say good things about you. And let's be real, just to be clear about Tucker Carlson's empire, his media company was founded with an $84 million loan from an Iranian, which he did pay back, or at least it's logged as paid back. But since then, he's visited Qatar, a human trafficking capital of the world, and also currently has modern day slavery. And he's talked about buying a house there. And he legitimately, I cannot find a single video over the last 18 months of him criticizing anything about Islam, radical Islam, Islamic extremism. It's completely switched. So I'm not going to say he's an asset of, I will say he's an asset of the Middle East. But the reality is that money buys loyalty when it comes to the media. And so far, we know that Tucker Carlson has accepted $142 million from the Middle East. That buys a lot of fucking loyalty.
Yeah.
Nick, do the laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the impersonation.
I see. I can't do. Okay.
Don't put him on the spot, guys.
Never
No
taken
pressure.
never
No
taken
pressure.
a dollar from Qatar, like at all. Like, like, come on.
Well,
I love it.
I'm on record on many of my lives disparaging Islam, so you can't say I was been paid for by Qatar or any Islamic country. I have a vast record of me criticizing Islam. But yeah, I think there is something fishy there. I think that people look at, Tucker's proclaimed to being, the ultra Christian. He is the Christian to look at, and that I think it's all facade. I think all he cares about is money and power. That's it. Just like most people. But at least when he brings people on, he gives them proper, feedback. Like to Fuentes. He questions them. He gives them proper questions. He pushes back on statements like, I love Stalin, or I admire Stalin. You can give him some credit there.
It makes me so mad when I think about when I think about Tucker, because like, here's the thing, like if you're a shitty journalist, that's fine. Be a shitty Crystal Ball, terrible journalist. Like everyone at CNN, terrible journalist. But Tucker Carlson had Ted Cruz on. And I think Ted Cruz is dog shit. Like I think he's like, how do you keep electing this guy? Texas,
Because
figure
his
your
committees-
fucking shit out already.
Because people are stupid.
No, I
because
get
committees
people
that
are
lead to
stupid.
nothing.
I
Yeah,
get
they lead to
people are
nothing.
stupid, but like he had Ted Cruz on, and Ted Cruz is talking about Iran, and he asked him the population of Iran. He didn't know the number. If you're going to talk about Iran, fucking know something about him, Ted. But Ted sucks, right? So Ted didn't know the population. That was 3 days of clips, right? So like I get that. hammer people. I love that about Tucker. He had Nick Fuentes on. Nick Fuentes told him to his face, I think Hitler and Stalin are awesome. Zero
Pushback.
question. I'm going to tell you right now, there are 8 of us here. There is nobody that any one of us has ever met in our lives that could tell us to our face, I think Hitler and Stalin were awesome, and we wouldn't have a single
Word to say about it.
no, not a word, just a question of like, I'm going to give you the question. Why? nobody, and he didn't even do that. And it was like,
expand on that.
no,
Elaborate.
yeah, like there were better questions asked of aliens when they landed than Tucker asked of Nick Fuentes. Like, he had nothing for him.
Well,
And it's like I don't mind him platforming Nick, because I think I'm one of those people that believes the best disinfectant is sunlight, is make them answer questions. But if you're going to have on
questions,
exactly, but if you're going to have on Nick, and Nick's going to tell you, I think Hitler and Stalin were awesome, you should at least say why. Right? You should at least have to explain that.
The ultimate hypocrite, because he got on stage at AmFest. He's like, well, I don't hate Israel. I just don't like how many children are killed. It's like, motherfucker, don't you support Russia?
But
Like,
hold on,
aren't
here's
you
where-
out here simping for Putin?
Here's
like
where I have
Iran?
to- here's where I have to give AmFest credit. All of us, that were
Hamas.
at AmFest, all of us that were at AmFest, I have to give AmFest credit.
I'm jealous.
There were a ton of speeches at AmFest. We all saw it, right? We were in different areas, or we were there. There was no speech at AmFest that was as silent at the pauses that were supposed to be applause as Tucker's. Tucker said something, and he paused for applause. Silence.
And this is
Damn.
what I brought up to my audience. I said I'm actually glad that Tucker was there, and I was actually surprised because I thought this one was gonna be even worse than SAS when we were there. What was that? June, July, whatever.
Mhm.
I was a little worried about it, but the one good thing is when you look on social media, especially X, if you were to only look at the comment section, what people were posting on X, you would think you would know what happened at AmFest. But being at AmFest, it was the opposite. And you had Ben Shapiro calling out, a lot of people. He dropped
Megyn
bombs.
Kelly.
Megyn Kelly, Bannon, Carlson, and Candace. But one thing I want to hyper focus on with Ben Shapiro's speech is, and he nailed it. Nobody in the conservative movement is afraid of just asking questions in the sense of asking questions. What it is, and Ben Shapiro, I'll just steal what he said because he said it perfectly. It's when you ask questions not intending to, at least in a genuine way, find answers. And so when Tucker gets up and he tries to, refute Ben Shapiro, it actually worked out really well because he didn't actually answer anything Ben Shapiro said. All 4 of the people Ben Shapiro called out, all of them were like, he's just trying to cancel us. Ben Shapiro has not only never called for their cancellation, he's actually called for the opposite. Even Nick Fuentes, who has literally threatened Shapiro's life, even he was one of the people that said he should be reinstated on X. Ben Shapiro is a guy who literally never deletes any of his old tweets, even if it's something he doesn't even agree with anymore. And he doesn't block people. And this is true. And so if you're going to answer him, then answer him. Don't bring up stuff he didn't say. And with just asking questions, Tucker said, I'm trying to remember exactly, but he said something like, I thought that's what we do. We ask questions in the conservative movement. Yeah, but you're not trying to find answers. And that's the problem. What you're doing is now Tucker, he's smarter than people like Candace. Candace will just be saying stuff. And now even some people that used to support her, like Evan Kilgore and Morgan Ariel, they're leaving her. But you know what? Tucker does is he just brings on someone who says the Holocaust wasn't really this, calls him the most honest reporter, even though he literally has been sued, I'm pretty sure, and he's lost. He'll bring on Nick Fuentes saying Stalin is cool. And he just goes, well, yeah, we'll get back to that, I guess. That's the problem. You're not asking questions to find answers. You're asking questions so you can push something you're too afraid to say yourself.
But here's the thing, and this is what I want to say earlier. You kind of just went off on where I specifically wanted to go with it, and I couldn't agree with you more. But here's the thing. We have to make it so that there are stupid questions. And we have to remind people that some questions are just dumb questions. The answers are very easily discoverable. You asking them isn't some like new or fresh perspective. It's just you trying to be hyperbolic so you can get more views and get attention to yourself. That's all it is. And what is so frustrating right now is, for whatever reason, we're propping these people up and we're letting them exist within the movement, and that needs to be done away. Like, I'm sorry, like cancel culture, I can't get behind it. I don't want to see anybody canceled. I agree. But at some point, you just have to sit there and make fun of those people and ridicule them so they feel uncomfortable asking something so ungodly stupid that they think twice about it next time. So they're not comfortable being around these people.
Millennial, I just want to say just one thing
Sorry.
real quick. I promise to let you go. Also, I want to remind everyone, cancel culture was not just literally canceling. If something is against ideology and morality, not just a difference of opinion, we have generally said we're going to choose who we do and do not prop up. That's not cancel culture. Cancel culture was like, oh, did this one guy say something on his Twitter 10 years ago? We should cancel them today. That's what cancel culture was. It wasn't us saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't say Stalin was a good guy and Hitler's a good guy. Maybe that's what it is. All right, go ahead, Millennial.
Well,
No,
well,
you're
or
100%
Millennial,
right. You're 100% right. I mean, that's the reality is like, and here's the thing with cancel culture, like it only applies to people who accept that they've done something wrong. And that's where people need to stop messing around is like, because we talked about having stupid debates. And the reality is like a good example is what recently happened with the ICE agent in Minnesota. Now I'm willing to debate whether what ICE is doing is too heavy-handed. I'm willing to debate whether or not people should record them more, all those things. But what I'm not willing to debate is whether or not you get to shoot the motherfucker in the face when you're getting run over. Right? Like, I'm not going to debate that. Like, we're not going to debate whether or not she tried to run him over. We have his body cam where he got run over.
I'll debate.
You get shot in the face for that. That's the way it works. Like, here's the thing. It's not his fault that you got to have a closed casket. It's your fault. Like, that's the way, like,
accountability culture.
we
is
have
where
to
we're at.
stop debating basic facts. Like 10 years ago, had somebody tried to run over a federal agent, she got shot. We would have went, well, she shouldn't have ran over a federal agent.
What was she
But
doing?
here we
It
are
wouldn't have even been a
today.
story.
But no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been somebody tried to murder a federal agent, got shot in the face. But here we are today, where we're like, well, her back, who gives a shit what her back? She could have been, if Mother Teresa floors the fucking gas pedal, shoot that bitch in the face.
I definitely want to touch base on the ICE shooting for sure. I just wanted to, before we jump onto that topic, say that all that which we had talked about with the conservative influencers that I think that we all used to look up to, Megyn Kelly at one point, Tucker Carlson at one point before they went down this weird avenue. This is the reason why I wanted to create this podcast in the first place, is that so we can find influencers that can better influence the conservative movement, because if not enough people get up and speak out, then these people can influence the youth. They can influence the next generation, and having Nick Fuentes influence the next generation is just frankly fucking unacceptable in my opinion.
Wait,
But
real fast though, I think that's great that we talked about Nick because we had one of his biggest fanboys up on my live. You were both there for that moment where he was bragging about. I sent you. You remember the video I sent you, Owen?
Hale, talking
Hale.
about Hale.
I've
Yeah.
now watched it 7 times.
Oh my
You
god.
know it's really. We were all correct, by the way. That it was his initial claim that he claimed that he had gotten into a gunfight with police officers, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
But
He's made the claim on my panel too. It was weird.
but then he changed it up and said that wasn't the case. But I think it's really important sometimes to bring some of those individuals up because we all host lives. Older Millennial, Millie, Liberty, all you guys host lives, and you guys know you have people that are just sitting in the background listening to us. Okay, they're listening to the conversation and they're taking what we're saying and they're taking it in. They're listening to who we're debating with or having conversations with, whatever it may be, and that's what motivates me when we talk about you know, why do you have these conversations with these people? They're not willing. No, I know I'm not convincing these people to change their minds.
Exactly.
However, all those people who are listening, whether they're typing in my comment section or they're just listening, those are the people. Those are the people I'm
You're
speaking
changing
to.
their minds.
I'm not necessarily changing their minds. I'm at least giving them a proper point of view of the actual world that we live in.
Right.
And I think it's very important that we continue to have these conversations and we continue to dismantle these type of ideologies.
I want to touch base on one of the things because I think we all know that Charlie was, you know, upset or getting allegedly upset with people who were pulling donations from the platform because he was consulting with Candace Owens. And I think going to what Nick said, it's like, I expect people who support Israel that if they're listening to an influencer and they're seeing them sip tea with somebody who believes in those things, I wouldn't put my money towards that either. If you're going to platform somebody like that, I wouldn't be funding that. So it's not about like cancel culture. It's just like, I'm not going to fund this with my capitalism. So.
Well, like a great example is
Donors
that
are allowed
like,
to do what they want.
Yes.
like a big thing for me is that like people always talk about you should be willing to sit down with anyone. And that applies to a lot. But everybody's moral code is different. Right? Like so like for me a good example is I'll sit down with anyone, I'll discuss anything with anyone. But what is it? The Unfuck America Tour has asked me repeatedly to debate Destiny. But this is a dude who has 2 open court cases. One for revenge porn, second for sexually messaging an underage minor. Right? So that clashes with my moral code. So yeah, we should give a voice to everyone. We should accept everyone to let them say, because the best thing you could do is let them speak. Like Operation Let Liberals Talk has been the greatest methodology against liberals ever. Let them say what they want. And we're like, oh, this is lovely. I get to shit directly in your mouth. This is wonderful. But like, but we all have a moral code to hold to. Right. And there has to be a limit to it. There has to be a limit to where we give voice to I don't want to say like the debauchery. That's so like biblical, but like we cannot give voice to evil.
Yep.
And evil's a very tough word, but when you're for things like that's evil.
Well, you
and
force them to
we
explain
can't get
themselves.
voices to that.
Oh, wait, you force them to explain themselves. You force them. You put them in a corner and you pigeonhole them to explain themselves, because what their goal is in these debates is they're going to try to pigeonhole you and your ideas. How about you pigeonhole them in what they've actually done? Not ideas, but what they've done. Okay?
But it's those people, it's having those conversations with those people, but not recycling them, not constantly keeping them in the limelight. And that's the problem. You go back to Megyn Kelly, you go back to Tucker Carlson and the Nick Fuentes interviews and the comments on it. Like a smart friend of mine, much smarter than me, I'm just say his name on here, Reuven, said to me that something that it's always stuck around with me is, you know, if you're at dinner with 2 individuals and both of them tell you that they're Nazis, and you're still at the dinner table with them, there's 3 Nazis at the table. At a certain point, you accept people for who they are, you take what you can from the conversation, and you move on. If you keep having conversations with these people, if you keep giving them a platform, if you keep referencing them, well, then you're just another Nazi, right? And I look at Megyn Kelly, and that's a slippery slope with some of the things that she's saying. And Tucker Carlson is like kind of the epitome of it right now. Same with Candace Owens. How long did it take her before she was going full blown? Well, you know, Jews were a part of the slave trade, you know, like eventually they always get there. And are you going to aid in their popularity and keep their name in the public and keep talking about them so people can go back to them? Or at some point, do we just put that ugly monster back under the bed?
I don't agree with that, Middies, because I think you can dismantle and destroy of any sort of relevance that they have. And I think that's what's most important. The more you try to suppress and ignore these people, you develop Nick Fuentes. He designed Cozy
Not
TV.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Unreal. Just to defend what Mitty said here, basically what he's talking about is, say you had somebody up on your live on Tuesday who explained that they were a Nazi white supremacist piece of shit. Yep. They came up and you devoured them, just completely fucking crushed them, right?
You mean continuously engaging? Is that?
And then they came back on Thursday, and you were like, I think we've heard everything we need to hear from you.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
with
I
that.
think I agree with Unrealness. I think the way Nick Fuentes, like, yes, he's blown it up a lot. I think a lot of that has to do with the October 7th and the war to follow. People were already just kind of targeting Jews. So naturally they're like, oh, look at this Nick Fuentes guy. But the issue that I have is that I agree with Unrealness. I think the way to make these guys look dumb, because honestly, if you've ever actually heard Nick Fuentes actually have a real debate, he's actually not good at all. He's very
funny.
good at these.
That's it.
He's funny. He's charming. He is. I hate to say it, that he is.
He is.
And he has these clippable moments, which that's the way the world is. It's about clippable moments. And he's able to produce those. But the more we actually have debates with him, not him going on shows where they're just going to let him say dumb shit and they don't challenge him. I'm talking about go on to where people actually challenge him. That's how you make them realize that they're dumb. The way Candace Owens was able to project so far, now she's falling off. I mean, really, her views are tanking. And this is like a last gasp for her.
Predictable.
Right. And she did that because now she's starting to say that Elon Musk is a robot and there's this Thor Wachuca.
Lizard
I mean,
people.
isn't he?
Really,
Well,
really quick.
honestly, actually, she's probably right about that. But I just want to say real quick that she wouldn't really debate anyone. And then what happened? When was one of like the starts of people being like, "What the heck?" Is when some half-baked 20-year-old CNN reporter asked her the
Yes.
smallest question, and she's like, well, she can't debate. So the reason she was, and then Piers Morgan, that dude's an idiot. He was even able to make her look so dumb.
Crazy.
And so the way she was able to push so far and get all these views is because she wasn't debating people. And I offered it. I knew someone who had her phone number, and she literally, on Instagram, it tells you who views your story. She would, every time I made a video on her, right there, real Candace Owens, watching that video. I know she saw it, and I know the person. They sent me the text. I went to Candace Owens. I said, I will offer you debate about Israel-Palestine. This was when she was focusing more on Israel. This was before Charlie Kirk was murdered. And she got it, and she's like, no. And I'm nobody compared to her. So, yeah, this is how I agree. We need to have more of these people on, and we need to show that they're actually not smart.
And I want to make sure that I touch home on the fact that I don't want to censor these people. Let them run their mouth, because I promise you give them enough rope, they will hang themselves. They don't need any help making themselves look stupid. So it's not about like these people need to be censored. Even Nick Fuentes, like, I don't like his opinions. I really don't. But let him run his mouth, because people will form their own opinions. And I think people who are logical and somewhat moderate and have common sense are going to go, that dude's a fucking psycho.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, so we get on these big topics, right? Like we talk about Israel, or we talk about Charlie Kirk. We talk about these big topics, but that's why, like, I appreciate what like Logic does, right? Like, because Logic is focused mainly on Colorado. And what we need to find is a way to get people to come to a platform like that and talk about Colorado politics, because that's what actually matters. Like, we could argue about Israel, and we could argue about Charlie Kirk, we could argue about Venezuela. None of that matters in voting. People aren't thinking about what happened in Venezuela.
That's right.
They're thinking about what happened locally. They're thinking about what their state rep did to exactly. They're thinking about what fucked them over locally.
That's right. Yeah.
So, like, the question is, how do we take people who want to say dumb shit, people who believe dumb shit, and get them and funnel them to, like, let's say they're saying dumb shit in Colorado. How do we funnel them to people like Logic so she can express to them what Colorado could be? Like, what is the pathway to get people to talk about shit that actually matters?
Yeah, when you look at the top 3 reasons people vote in the last election, and generally all the recent elections, Israel's not in it. Venezuela's not going to be in it. None of it is. I think, if I remember, you guys can correct me. It was, economy was number 1, which makes sense. People want what's in their pockets. Are they being affected? Can they go to the store and buy what they need to buy until their next paycheck? Second, I believe, was immigration, right?
Immigration was top 3 for sure.
And I'm forgetting. No, I don't think it was.
Yeah, but regardless,
the point is what I'm making it. These are things that are these are things that are local. It might have been health, but even still, the health. It's what affects them individually. And so, I think you nailed it. And unless we start focusing on that, we're going to start focusing on things that don't actually affect elections. And then you have the Zohran Mamdani's winning as mayor, and then the midterms are not going to go well for us. And then later the presidential will not go well for us.
Like, is
I
it
agree.
possible to have, and I know this would be asking a lot, but is it possible to have regional based debates? Like, this is where what Charlie did was so important. This is where we lost. Like, Charlie was amazing, but where we lost, the biggest loss in Charlie was having local discussions, right? Like when he had an event in Utah,
Right.
sure, there were some people, like the clips were all people coming up talking about what's happening in the world because that was good clips. But there
Right.
were people who came up and talked about what's happening in the local legislature, right? There are people that come up because if you said, hey, I'm going to have a town hall at, I don't know, Logic, what's your local college?
I mean, CSU, Colorado State University.
CSU. You say, I'm going to go to CSU and I'm only going to talk about things that are Colorado based. Everybody who's pissed is showing up to that. And that's where you inspire people. That's where you say, I'm going to speak to what you're mad about. And I feel like conservatives fail so badly in being focused on national shit. Because like if I talk about stuff that's happening in Florida, it gets 2,000 views. If I talk about shit that's happening in Who Gives a Fuckistan, 100,000 views, right? because that's the way social media works. But so we recognize the social media isn't going to get us there. It needs to be a local conversation with local people, and that requires on the ground engagement. That's where somebody like Scott Pressler and Charlie were so amazing, and we've lost that now. We've
Well, I
gone
think
back to yelling about international shit.
I think there's an opportunity with this Minnesota thing, right? Like you see a lot of people mobilizing in their own states. And again, to say state politics don't matter, they were they wasted federal tax dollars, guys. It was our dollars
Right.
too.
That's
They wasted them. So like to say state legislators don't matter or that governors don't matter, you're kidding yourself. And I think people need to tune in and start holding. I think we are, like Tim Burchett said it, and he's bringing on Elon Musk and everything. I think we're at the tip of the iceberg with this Minnesota thing. I think this stuff has been going on for years in the billions of dollars, and it has to come to an end. But it's going to take a lot of us continuously holding them accountable. The fact that we don't have a Tim Walz resignation yet boggles my mind with the evidence that has come out.
A
with
Tim
the
Walz
AG in
arrest
Minnesota.
warrant.
Right,
Forget
like
resignation,
that's
handcuffs.
what we need to like get. I think that could get people mobilized, right? Because right now it feels like, okay, we can make a bunch of noise, but nothing's going to happen. Tim Walz is just going to not rerun, and he's going to serve out his term, and nothing's going to happen to the dude. But it takes people, like, you can get enough public pressure to get a politician to resign. But we just don't do it.
I mean, you got to think the
ahead.
former almost vice president of the United States, his political career was ended by a YouTuber with a couple days of free time. Like, that's where we need to recognize the power that we have. Nick Shirley spent 4 days in Minnesota. He ended the political career of the possible vice president of the United States. We need to recognize the power we have, but here's where we need to recognize it. We do not have power over national politics. We make a video, president and vice president don't give a fuck. The executive branch don't give a shit. The Congress don't give a shit. But with a single video, single report, single investigation, you can change the congressional makeup of your state, of your municipal, of your city. And I can tell you the best example I can see of this is anybody who lived in Florida during COVID. Biden did a laundry list of batshit crazy stuff. Us in Florida, we didn't give a fuck because our local, municipal, city, state legislatures were like, fuck that dude.
Intel, did you have something?
Yeah, well, I mean, so OM brought up the fact that Shirley, right, did this, video and it got national attention. And that was the power of social media and being an influencer. The reason why I bring that up is because this story was already broken by a reporter in that state over a year ago, and nobody cared. And that was what that drove me. Or I mean, I think that's even crazier. And so, I mean, we have to be able to leverage our, like I think we've already said it, leverage our platforms to drive that kind of change. But it does matter. The stories do matter, and that we don't really have control over that. We have to be able to support each other. And then I just one last thing. Side note: we haven't even talked about, not that the 8 of us have talked about, but Trump did float the idea that the Minnesota senator was tied to a lot of this through the healthcare lane, right? All we're talking about is the education lane. Like there is so much systemic corruption going on.
Yes.
That needs to be uncovered.
And I think we can correct a lot of stuff through targeting education, and that's certainly true. But I want to mention, I remember during the election cycle, during our debates, we debated the Feeding Our Future scandal. It was like my main argument against Tim Walz, outside of the whole Tampon Tim fucking meme. It was like, this dude's name is attached to massive amounts of fraud, but I want to look into the Melissa Hortman homicide, because that's what I think is the most suspicious part about what Tim Walz was saying. This man says, I know where the skeletons are. He said that in his manifesto. He said, Tim Walz instructed me to do this and threatened my family if I didn't do this. And then we had 400 whistleblowers just came through and said that Tim Walz threatened their family. Why is this man not fucking arrested? Where the fuck is Pam Bondi? I don't know where this bitch is, but someone needs to res her from her fucking desk and get her the fuck out there. I said this on my live today with all of these protesters out there. Invoke the Insurrection Act, gather like 30 fucking buses, go snatch every single one of these shitheads, zip tie them, throw in the bus, fucking prosecute them. It's not hard.
I'm going to be real. I didn't think I'd hear Millie talking dirty on a podcast. I love it.
Listen, I talk like this in my live every day. That's why I get constantly banned.
Yeah, no, but it's the reality is that right now there should, the fact that look, if you're looking for somebody who understands technology, don't fucking come to me. All right. But the reality is there should be a website where we have a counter of our national debt. And every time we find fraud,
we do, bro.
No. Hold on. I'm not just saying a counter of the national debt. I know that website exists. But what I'm saying is that website should exist. And then it should also include every time we find fraud, we should subtract from that. Right? So you can see our national debt and then subtract all the fraud and watch the number of our national debt go down.
Pitch it to Tim Burchett and Elon Musk.
I would love to, but rich people don't talk to me because I say fuck too much.
Oh, this is a live debt calculator.
No, I know that one. No, please, God, don't. This is like watching this. This is like watching the fucking.
Why does it never go down?
It never goes down. However,
the U.S. debt clock is a married woman.
The insanity though is that this is one of the best things to look at, because it'll tell you state debt, it'll tell you how much revenue we have coming in, it'll tell you revenue per citizen, it'll tell you the amount of money that we're getting off fucking tariffs. We're at 650 billion for tariff revenue. That's insane. But no, if you ever want to check that out.
To throw into that, CNN admitted 2 days ago that Donald Trump, in his first 12 months in his administration, has reduced our trade deficit by 52%. Just so people understand trade deficits, that translates over a 10-year period to a reduction of $750 billion.
Okay, I love you all. I'm very tired, so I think
Girl, I'm on the East Coast. It's early for you.
It's okay.
I get up so early. So,
I've been enjoying watching you struggle, though. It's been fun for me.
But hold on, wait.
I literally got a message from a follower. They're like, "You look so tired on this live."
I got a 7-month-old. I went to bed at 1:30 and I've been up.
This is why the left is.
Wait, can I say
this?
This
is why
real
the
quick
left is
for
going
Logic?
to win. Logic.
Oh, shut
Can
up!
I say this real quick
It's
for
you
Logic?
giving up and going to sleep.
Logic is going to have a big guest on soon. She's got big people coming. She's got politicians on the podcast, famous politicians. She's got big things coming. And if she delivers me the paperwork I've demanded, She's got even bigger things coming.
Is it Ilhan Omar and her brother?
Please.
No. It's not an OnlyFans.
Oh my god.
Okay. On that note,
Or else.
you guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have a good night.
Guys,
Bye,
thank you so
Logic.
much.
I love you.
I just
Have a
wanna
great night,
say-
girl.
I just want to say before Logic goes, this was fantastic. I think this was a great idea. I just want to say Logic inspired this idea as well. So I'm just glad that to see it come through. So we should do this more often. I think it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real.
Agree.
Don't give too much credit to a white girl. This is gonna seem weird.
Oh my god, stop it.
Isn't
Bye.
everybody?
Bye, everyone. Have fun.
Good night,
See ya.
See ya,
Logic.
Logic.
Bye,
All right, we
Logic.
got 10 more hours in this. Easy.
Yeah, I think.
It's
Easy,
only 10
absolutely.
here in Idaho, so I'm good, man. I'm good. Shit,
And
by the way,
here's the
it's
thing: I
10-10
do
for
want
her
to
as
say,
well.
I do want to say to some people like Unreal and Nick and Millie, when the fuck do you sleep?
I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because, like,
a full-time job.
Because I legitimately have been on your lives and like gone to sleep, wake up, and you're live, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going
Hanging
on
out in
here?
people's
Honestly,
lives.
Like I will do a lot of research because a lot of the stuff I do talk about geopolitics a lot and stuff like that. So doing research, it adds a little bit more time because I have to look at local news, not local here. And so people will literally, I'll get off a live, I'll be up at 3 a.m. texting them, giving them sources. And then all of a sudden I'll be texting them again at 7 a.m. They're like, when do you sleep? I'm like, yeah, I just don't. I just kind of take elongated naps sometimes. Maybe. I don't know.
It's neurodivergency because your
Neurodivergency, yep.
brain is always
not be
fucking
me.
running.
Also, I
Facts, girl.
I was
Facts.
in the, but I was also in the military for 12 years. All I did was I just kind of shifted my sleep schedule, but I'm still
Bullshit.
able to operate with less sleep.
All right, I'm gonna call bullshit. First of all, I was in the military for a decade. First of all,
Yeah,
I love
but-
my sleep. I love my sleep. See, the difference is that Nick loves working.
I do love working.
He loves working.
I have to
Unreal.
stay busy. I have to stay
Unreal-
busy or I get stressed out. That's what they call PTSD. I think. I don't know.
You need fucking weed, just in your
No,
life.
it doesn't work for me.
Tequila.
That I'm with.
That's
I'm
the
with
guy who
realness
drinks
on
it
that.
straight from the bottle.
I'm with the tequila.
That was the pregame show, bro. Don't fucking judge me. You're not supposed to bring those topics up.
Wait,
There-
Unreal.
there
I
wasn't-
think
first
you
of
and
all,
I
What happens in
go.
the pregame show.
I want to be
stays in the
clear.
pregame.
First of all, that wasn't judgment. That was admiration.
Oh, okay.
Unrealness. I think you and I go live like at the same time. I'm pretty sure, right? When do you go live?
Well,
Usually
I
right
go. Well, I'm supposed to go live at 9 p.m. or so 9 p.m. Mountain Standard, but I
Yes,
usually click it
literally
around
same.
9:45.
I
Just gotta go to the
literally
gym.
same. I'm about I try 8 p.m. Pacific, and I usually get around 8:30 to 8:45. So yeah, same.
Yeah.
Well, normally I host my live like 9:30 till 3, and then I go cook dinner and be a mom. And then at around midnight, I'm like, let's go fuck around with some liberals. I just want to make them fucking cry. And then after I'm done like beating their ass, I just go, all right, I'm ready to go to sleep.
See, I just wait until I'm too lit to host my own live. So then I
Then
go.
you follow, then you follow
And then
suit
you
on
do
your live.
karaoke.
Oh, no.
Karaoke.
No, I either am too lit to host my own live, so I go to Unrealness's live.
And
'Cause
then
I
you get me
know-
fucking banned
'cause-
for a week.
Because I know that Unrealness is going to have ridiculous. Because I will tell you right now, like Nick has people on his live who are functionally fucking retarded, and they're just but they're functionally retarded in a Muslim sense, right?
See,
And
this
if
is
I go
what
over-
got me on John Cusack's ex because when I was with older
Wait, can we
millennial,
say that on YouTube?
You can
No,
say
you
retarded on
can't.
YouTube.
Okay.
You can say
Yeah.
Okay,
retarded
well,
on
stop
YouTube, we're
saying
fine.
it anyways because I'm on TikTok. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
regardless,
Oh.
the older millennial, I'm on a panel with him, and still, that
Banned.
was like almost 2 years ago. I was on John Cusack's, the actor's ex. I was on Mohammed Hadid's Instagram because this dude. You know what? Let's just move past that. Anyway,
But here's the thing, I can't go over to Millie's live because Millie gets so she's like, let me explain to you the financial numbers of what happened since 2014. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. But if I go over to Unrealness's live,
polynomial.
but if I go over to Unrealness's live, there's somebody who's like, the sky's green. And I'm like, I could debate that guy.
Millie's over here with the fucking abacus trying to teach us how many fucking votes it takes to pass
Can we-
the filibuster.
You haven't brought that out in forever.
Oh my lord!
I missed
but
that
that's
thing.
but that's the point.
my
Is
God.
like it's a matter of what you're looking for from a live. Like if I'm looking for people from the Middle East trying to defend a pedophile, Nick's live's where it's at. right? Because that's where it's at. People who don't understand geopolitics but want to explain it to Nick, that's where it's at. If I want
Bring out my
people,
Quran.
if I want guys who think if I yell loud enough, I'll win the argument, I'll go to Opinionated Girls Live. If I want people who don't understand fuck all about the military, I'll go to Intel Guys Live. If I want to, for some reason, take a remedial math class, I'll go to fucking Millie's Live. And if I want people who are stupid about everything, I'll go to Unrealness Live. It's a trick. And
It works out.
Middies pops into everything with like, well, let me explain it to you. And then people get really mad at
But
him.
don't forget about something
And he
about feet.
explains it.
Something about feet also.
Feet pics.
I need to go to Unrealness's live. I need to witness this.
No,
I need to-
What,
I
you
need
want
to
girls-
cheat
Sleep. You're probably asleep.
You want
usually
girls
live.
crashing out at 3 a.m.? Go to Unrealness's live.
If you want to do,
Way
if
too
you
much
want to do,
estrogen.
if you want
to
a dude telling you that he gets in shootouts with the police and then 30 seconds later telling you he never said he gets in shootout with the police, that's Unrealness Live. It's
Sounds
people who are so shit-faced drunk that they cannot keep their stories together.
Okay, so I
That's
need to
why I
go to-
love Unrealness Live.
I need to
It's late
start
at
going
night.
into Unrealness's live then, is what you're saying. It
Oh
sounds
my
actually
God.
great.
Bro,
I
It's a
you
Jerry
want
Springer
to
show at,
clean
at,
up.
at
You
Because
will
me and
clean
him-
up.
Listen,
Me
let's
and
talk
him are
about
live-
tariffs. So that guy comes in and is like, hey, man.
No. I'll tell you what.
I
If
shot
you
a
want
shootout with
to, if you
police.
want to make it go crazy, bring Nick into your live, and the first thing he says is, "Go Israel." I promise you that live will go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of Islam has been coming up lately. You know what's funny is
Oh,
I
yeah.
just had a debate the other day, and I'm posting some clips from it. But this guy who's Muslim, I was on Omegle, and he's just like, I just pretended I knew nothing about Islam. Now, for context, I've read the Quran twice.
I
I've
saw
read over
your video,
20,000
by the way.
hadiths. I've read over 20,000 hadiths. I've studied Sunnah, so I just go, I don't really know much about it. Can you tell me about it? And like the guy's like trying to do a little bit takia and play it, and then I just grab my Quran. I'm like, hey, what do you think about? And then I start reading it, and he's like,
Yo, Millie, can you highlight Life Awesome 5413's tweet or post right there?
Yeah, if you want middle-aged women who are drunk off their ass, go to Unrealness's
Facts.
I need to
Facts.
go. I need to
And
go
I'll
to
tell you-
Unrealness's live.
I'll tell you this right now.
This is
Every-
the best ad for a live I've
That's
ever
such a
seen in
good
my
And
life.
I will tell you this right now. I'll tell you this right now. Every one of them hates my guts.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you the most important thing. If you want to learn about the Graying Tower theory, you go to wherever Middle East is. That's
Yeah.
where you go. Where Mideast pieces, you'll learn about the Graying Tower theory, and you'll get to see a lot of picture of Arab male feet.
But
They're
the
like,
best
I'm pretty
part-
sure I've heard this
Well,
in like
that
15
sounded
different
hot.
lives, bro. That's how well known it is at this point. Like 15
the-
different predominant lives.
But
No,
the
I-
best
I
part
had a live
is when
earlier.
OM goes into Unrealness's live at like 3 a.m. and all the middle-aged cougars are sitting there simping for Unrealness, and older millennials like, you know what's better than this? Not being fat and ugly.
I'm setting an alarm
That
for
ugly
this.
bitch.
I'm setting an alarm for 3 a.m. I'm going to
Well,
Unrealness's.
I'll tell you right now.
One of these days, I'm
Nick,
just gonna
Nick.
skip. One of these days, I'm gonna skip
So
a live, and I'm just gonna go to Unrealness. I'm gonna tell my audience. I get like 500 people, and I'm gonna be like, "Let's all go to
Yeah, dude.
Unrealness."
No,
Dude, listen,
Nick,
we'll get a
Nick,
bunch of white women defending Islam, dude. It's gonna be fucking
Nick,
great.
you would be proud. You would
Drunk
be
white
proud.
women.
I did a live the other day.
I'll put on
where
my.
where I said I literally the topic above my head was, if you're a Muslim and you're not a Zionist, you're a bad Muslim. And they lost their fucking mind because I
know
pointed
what?
out what is it? Surah Al Ma'idah fucking
There's a lot. There's a lot of them.
521, where
521,
Moses gave it to them.
526, Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
were
there's-
very and it was the funniest thing was
Oh my
here
God.
this live got banned, by the way. Because
I used to put on my background. I used to put on my
Right.
background. Allah is a Zionist. They
no,
hated that.
where a girl came on, a girl came on and started yelling at me, and I was like, if you were a good Muslim, you'd shut the fuck up because a man's talking.
Oh, is Lauren actually? What happened to Lauren? Yo, somebody, I need a wellness check on Lauren. Whatever happened to her? She
I
just
don't
like
know.
disappeared off the face of the map. I or the planet. I have no idea where she went, but I hope she's okay.
Maybe
She-
she went to an ICE protest.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe
you
she
know.
found herself a good Islamic man.
Maybe she ended up like this. We talk about this poor fucking dog for a
Wait, what the heck?
back of this car.
Is that
The
a
dog
good
was
game?
Those are
okay.
haram.
The
Those are
dog was
haram.
okay.
Those are haram.
Those are-
Bruh, hang
It is,
on. Where's OM? I need OM for this clip. I'm telling you, like this whole thing is just silliness from top to bottom. The
Sure.
fact that her wife brought her out here. One,
was-
the fact she left her husband for this woman is like the worst part about this, in my
I
opinion.
heard the husband died. Is that not true?
There
Yeah,
were
he-
two
She left
husbands.
him. I think she
Yeah.
left him
He's
first.
dead.
so-
No, there were two. One she got divorced from, and then the other one died. And then she married a woman who was convicted of child abuse and putting out cigarettes on her kids' arms. So she lost custody of her other two kids because she picked the wife over them.
Yep.
And that's this woman, right?
Yeah.
The one who
in
got
the
shot.
car.
Oh, the one screaming at the car is the one who uses kids as an ashtray.
I
yes.
hate that my
Allegedly.
sister. I hate that my sister drives
Allegedly.
a Honda Element.
In my opinion.
In my opinion, allegedly.
Just so you know, it'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
Okay, so remember she says we're gonna talk to you later. So she already acknowledges that they're gonna meet up again. And then she goes off about her being a veteran. Like, please stop. We know you did your 4 years and got out.
U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Is that the wife?
Yeah.
Yep.
And let me tell you, the tune of this woman changes within like
Wait, I gotta
50
say real quick. Is anybody surprised that she's wearing plaid?
seconds. No.
Like it's so stereotypical.
Yeah.
Also, how's she
Ugly-
gonna body shame him?
Because like this is why I hate the L part of the LGBTQ is like, look, I get it, butch plaid, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Millie,
And those boots.
hey
what's
everyone, I'm
up?
gonna go ahead and leave.
All right, Intel. I hope you have a
Bye.
great night. Thanks for joining us, man. It
Later,
was a
brother.
fun
Night,
time.
Intel.
Later.
But like butch and plaid, we're like, she's not pleasing a man.
Were you guys waiting on me? My bad.
And those boots too. All right. So
That part
Hit
was so aggressive. That
whoa.
part was so
Whoa.
aggressive. Like,
One more time?
people are like, he didn't try to run him over. It's like, have you ever been hit with a car? The
Well, you
shit
also-
is not chill.
That's a
No,
Honda
it's correct.
Pilot.
Well, it's also crazy, and if you, I'm sure Miller showed the other
It's got
angle later,
four-wheel.
but the crazy part is if the road wasn't wet / snowing, it would have probably caught
Gone
traction
even
earlier,
worse.
and he would have actually been hit even worse.
Yeah,
I will-
Tucker
I will
laugh.
point-
Like,
I will
I
point
highlighted
out.
this at nauseum yesterday.
I feel like that
nauseam.
kid from Shrek. Do the
Wait, I-
roar.
You can see,
I
you
will
can see the
point out-
snow on the. Hold on one sec. You can see the snow on the tires. That back
On the
right
back
tire.
wheel. Yeah.
You can
Mhm.
literally see it on it. So it. Yeah, go ahead.
I think
And
most
I
of
just
these
want
are
to point out this guy
front-wheel
was
drive,
run
though.
over
There-
4
no,
months
if
ago.
you guys drive a 4-wheel drive vehicle, it's front wheel by default, and it's all wheel when you put it into 4-wheel drive, obviously. But I mean,
Right.
yeah. So like if you own a 4-wheel drive vehicle, no, and actually I have that backwards. It's rear wheel. So no, this person is from a place where it doesn't snow very much, obviously, when they bought this car, because I don't think this has a 4-wheel option. This Honda Pilot. I think it's just front wheel.
No, but I want to point out that the officer was
Sorry.
run over 4 months ago. He was fully run over.
6 months ago.
Yeah, he was
Was it
dragged
6? I
400
thought it
feet.
was 4. Yeah, he literally, like, this is an officer who has dealt with this before with somebody who ran him over and didn't care. But this video to me is like when they're like, she didn't hit him. It's like there's a dent in her car where she hit him.
Yes. Well,
didn't
and
she
you
also
shifted
hit-
gears. Like you have to think about the fact that you have to
Yeah.
put your foot on the brake to change gears. So you had to put your foot on the brake to go in reverse. Then you had to put your foot on the brake to then shift it into drive. You had to do this multiple times to even get there and then put your foot from the brake to the fucking gas pedal. So multiple actions.
And
took
just to be
place.
clear, look at when this girl reaches for the door handle. Because when you put it in park, it will unlock. When it's in reverse or drive, it won't. So she reaches for the door handle, which means this car is already in drive.
Right.
So
Also, just for context, this was Missouri tags. Also,
Yes.
Yeah, but the reality
you
is
live
that
and you leer. Okay.
at no point was this woman looking to stay put. And here's the thing: the officer walked up and said, "Get the fuck out of the car." And here's just advice for anyone on the live: when a federal officer says, "Get the fuck out of the car," just my advice: get the fuck out of the car.
Oh, I thought you were going to say drive aggressively away into a police officer. Or sorry. I thought it was going to go into a total different direction. But as Millie was saying, though, Millie, you're correct. She went from reverse and then she slapped immediately into drive. Not to park, but to drive. Because you can see it goes reverse, brake light, bam, brake light gone, reverse light gone. She went right to drive instantly. Instantly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So she was originally either parked and then went into reverse, then pressed the brake again to get into drive, and then moved her foot to the gas, and then
and I will tell you that all my chat cared about when I posted this video was, is the dog okay?
For real. Everybody, like the poor
Facts.
fucking dog that had to deal with this. But the White House just put this out tonight. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but
Yeah,
I saw this video. It didn't look like anybody got run over to me.
Based off what I'm seeing here, it really doesn't look like a nice officer was run over.
You can see the video and see the agent wasn't run over. We all saw that video. She didn't run over the officer.
This was clearly not with any sort of intention to run somebody over.
Drive. I'm gonna miss this fucking White House. I'm not gonna lie. Like the amount of standing on business that this White House does.
I need to know who runs their social media. Whoever runs their social media.
It's Barron Trump.
Whoever they are deserves a fucking high five. And by the way, I will point out, as I know a buddy who Barron Trump has said, he said to his buddy, not publicly, he has no involvement in the social media.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Now, hold on.
It's exactly what someone would say.
But he's been asked, could you recommend people? And he was like, I'm not getting involved in this.
They need to name the name of the person who's making these fucking memes, because they're just so fucking fire.
God no. People
the
will
Maduro
immediately
one?
go into that person's past.
The Maduro one with Marco Rubio is like, and if you didn't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know. Imagine the Secretary of State fucking quoting Biggie Smalls, and
then you just got Trump in slow motion.
Yeah.
Let's be real. It's definitely Grok that's just
But that's
doing this.
what
They have it set up on auto, and it's just like every headline. Let's make it into a meme that's like for the Trump administration.
But that's what's so wonderful about JD Vance. Like, I just imagine having JD Vance as president, where like we're gonna get millennial quotes. He's gonna say shit like, "If you don't know, now you know," and he's gonna know that he's setting up his social media team for it. Like, because like imagine, like I think we're all millennials. No, you're Gen Z. You fucked up. You're bad. You got born too late.
Born too late is a crazy
but the reality is that you're gonna look 12 until you're 80, so it's fine.
Leave me alone.
But the reality is, for most of us, like we know what we would do if we were president. We'd be like, "Yo, I'm gonna say, like, hold on, wait, how do I quote B?" Right? Like we're gonna be like, we're gonna say. Like, we're going to get Juicy into a conversation so we can play the music. Like, we're going to do that. And that's JD. JD is the ultimate shit talker. Like, Donald Trump is a wonderful president, but he's not a great spokesperson. Like, he doesn't say, like, he's a horrible public speaker. The thing with JD,
he died like a dog was pretty fire.
He died like a dog.
Guys,
yes,
that was years ago. Though.
Yes, but
For the debate, why'd you
but
send me my address?
No.
That's my personal favorite.
Hold on. Debate's different. Donald Trump is a great shit talker. If you get him in a town hall and he gets to talk shit, he's a great shit talker. But like a good example, we were at the memorial for Charlie Kirk, and I was there for everybody's speech. Donald Trump walked out. He started talking. I was like, I'm going to go get a drink. because I've heard everything he has to fucking say.
Rambles
He's a-
on. You know he's going to
a-
bring up 2020.
For real, he's like that grandfather that starts talking, and you're like, yeah, wonderful, cool. Where's the fucking alcohol, right? But like JD is shit talking encompassed. Like he is, like he goes up on stage and he's like,
Real quick,
I'm gonna hit you with the one-liner that's gonna make you upset, and then I'm gonna make a meme about it.
to bring us back to like what this live was about. I do love the talking, but one, before I say, middies, can you make a whatever that's called, the whatever AI you use, can you make a song about ice? I think that'd be amazing. But to bring it back, like, how do you guys feel about JD Vance? Sometimes I love him, and sometimes I don't know what to think about him, which sometimes, just to bring an uncomfortable conversation to the table, sometimes makes me nervous when I don't know what to think about somebody.
Well, he has the worst best friend ever.
Yeah.
Like his best friend Peter Thiel is like, if I was gonna follow Candace Owens and think there were lizard people robots, I would think Peter Thiel was a robot lizard person, because he like Peter Thiel fucked up the easiest conversation ever. A dude asked him, he goes, well, you think the human race should carry on? And he goes, well, he spent 32 seconds without answering that question. It's like, bitch, that's a softball. The answer is yes. Right? Like, so Peter Thiel is an evil human being. He's a piece of shit. And that's JD's best friend.
And not
which
just that,
bothers
he's
me about
also
him.
very, very, very close. I mean, he kind of owes his VP spot to Tucker Carlson.
I get it, but like, so I love JD for who he appears to be.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how
And
I
I have a huge problem with JD for who he associates with. Right? Like, when I look at who he associates with, I'm like, you're a good person that could be one of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
Also, when you look at politicians, especially politicians like JD, who you don't really know a lot of what he's thinking, you have to look at not just what politicians say, but what they don't say. And that's where JD falls off for me a lot. I'm not saying I dislike the guy. Amfest, for those that went, Erica too, but others were even saying like, we're gonna get him, elected, and he's gonna be our next president. And I think that's where everyone is just standing like, yeah, JD's the next president, like that's who we're gonna back. But I'm over here, I'm not saying I don't want that. I'm saying, again, what he doesn't say sometimes bothers me.
Yeah, but we don't have to worry about it because Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president.
I prefer Rubio over a Vance run. I would like to see Rubio run.
I think this primary is going to be very sticky, and I think it's going to be very cutthroat for who's going to be the next Republican primary. And I think it's going to be kind of like a power vacuum now that Donald Trump is not up at the plate anymore. And also, you have to throw in Vivek is probably going to run again.
I don't think he stands a chance, though.
No.
Yeah. So right now, if the
Vivek's
vote
running in Ohio.
If the vote was happening today, I'm with Maddie, Opinionated Girl. I would pick Rubio if it was today, because Rubio has done a great job. His polls have actually, like, just the thought of people saying who would you vote for skyrocketed after the Venezuelan operation. And it's not that I think JD's bad. I just don't know all the time, and that to me is problematic.
You don't know enough about him. You're not as familiar about him. And I think that's why Rubio appeals to you more, is because you're more familiar with Rubio's ways. You're aware of the monster that you're choosing. It's the monster you don't know.
I think it's sometimes for me with JD, 'cause sometimes I feel like he's a chameleon a little bit.
Right.
And that's, I think, where Nick's going with this, is that, like, why is he choosing not to say some of the things that he could easily tee up and say when he probably should? And is it because he's afraid of offending people? Is it, like, to me, sometimes it comes across like it's not super genuine. And when I'm looking at somebody that I want to vote for, I think that's what was so appealing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump wasn't afraid to say whatever the fuck was on his mind. And that's what made him so likable for so many people that were tired with the PC bullshit. And that for me is big part of it.
I will
100%.
compare JD Vance sort of like to an Obama figure, where I think he says all of the right things. He's a very good speaker, especially in the debate between him and Tim Walz. I mean, he was walking circles around Tim Walz so hard that Tim Walz is like, I'm friends with school shooters. And JD is like, well, you heard him, and that was he was deceased on stage, and you walked off. So
Yeah, JD does a great job. He's a great speaker, and you're right. It's just like Obama. If we're putting our bias aside and not thinking about Obama being Obama, like he was a good speaker, other than his constant like stuttering communist shit. But like he was a good speaker. He was charming, and so. Some people who don't know anything about politics, who just looks at the guy, is like, yeah, he seems like a great politician, and then you find out, he's awful.
Yeah. Well, this is
real quick, I have to drop off, guys, but thank you so much for having me, Millie. This was fun. Talk soon.
It was good to have you.
I just have to say, this is
she's fantastic.
wait,
by
this
the
is
way.
an argument between: do we want the conservative, or do we want the electable?
I don't know. You
Wait,
go
which
ahead,
one's
Nick.
the conservative? I'm confused.
Oh my god.
The conservative is Rubio.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say
JD.
JD. Okay, I thought you would say JD Vance was conservative. I'm like, I don't know.
No,
if I agree with that. I
but
guess, okay.
but again, this is always the game you run into, where like it's wild, where people like if we're evaluating this from an electable standpoint.
I want the conservative just to answer, but
No, I got you. But the choices are JD Vance with Anna Paulina Luna. That's the electable thing. Now
Right,
the conservative. Now the conservative ticket, the actual conservative, is Marco Rubio and Vivek. Now Marco and Vivek don't win. Now, under my line of thinking, neither of them win. So I'd rather have them go conservative because JD is going to lose to Gavin. It's not even going to be fucking close. But
I don't agree with you. I know you say this all the time. I don't agree with you particularly, but keep going.
no, but the reality is, like, are we choosing principle over electability? I'll always choose
I want a
principle.
balance between the two because
that doesn't
don't get me
exist.
wrong. No, of course it does. I like this idea that like I get what you're saying. Electable is a thing versus a principle. And when I'm saying the balance, obviously the reason I can't find that balance with JD is because I don't know if he's a conservative. I mean, I'm sure he's more conservative, but I don't know. Whereas I know Rubio is, and I think Rubio is electable. As electable as JD, maybe not. I don't know. I think it depends on what happens in this next 3 years.
No, but what you just said is the ultimate, is the penultimate of politics. You just said he's conservative, but is he more conservative than? And that's what politics turns into. It goes, oh, well, JD's not Gavin Newsom, so we expect people to vote for him. And that's the crazy thing about how politics work. They're like, because the Democrat opponent is going to be Gavin. So, and if we're going, oh, they're more conservative than Gavin, fucking everybody's more conservative than Gavin Newsom.
That's not particularly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that with JD Vance, I don't. Go ahead, Millie. Go ahead.
Let me just like touch base on this, okay? Because I think there's some confusion. I think I know a little bit about more of JD Vance's background. Like, he's a super pro-life advocate, like, so very conservative, and I think arguably probably more conservative than Marco Rubio, if I'm being honest. Okay, I think
yeah, that's probably true.
I think that you probably just don't know too much or have been familiar or exposed to him enough to understand him. There's a whole documentary about his life works, about how he grew up. His mother was an addict, addicted to drugs throughout his whole life, and he had to go live with his grandmother, and because his whole family was broke, and his grandmother could barely afford to buy him a fucking calculator. Then he goes and joins the military, turns his life around, then ends up going to an Ivy League school. So like his come up story is actually pretty cool. Honestly, very conservative in my opinion. And especially his pro-life standpoint, I would say he was a conservative. But when we're talking about electability, I think it's both, right? I think JD Vance is a conservative and also electable, but I think we're skeptical of him because he does tell us things that we want to hear, and we're kind of triggered and put off by that because of the Obama era bullshit where we were just fed things that we wanted to hear and then never deliver. So, one, I will take fucking any shithole Republican over the absolute lunacy of the left. I'm so sorry. I don't want to live in a trans world. Everybody fucking pronouns and all of my free speech goes away. We wouldn't even be on this platform right now if the left had it their way. They would kick us all off the platform. We would all be fucking silenced. It would go back to the same old shit, and they would take two-way away in a heartbeat. So bye-bye guns, bye-bye free speech.
No, not my guns.
Do you think that you think JD would beat Gavin and Marco wouldn't?
Yes, I think JD on a debate stage would mop Gavin Newsom. If I'm being honest,
I think I just want to
on a debate stage. JD would fuck anybody up.
Yes. I think as a quick sentence, if like I could look into the future and found out like that would be true. If JD runs, he will be president. If Marco runs, Gavin be president. Then yes, I would back JD because I'm with you. I'd rather, even at the expense of somebody I may not be my number one, if you will, over Gavin Newsom or really any Democrat, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, but the reality is that
I thought you were gonna drink straight from the bottom.
I'm not a degenerate.
Don't tell me how to
she'll
live
pour
my
it in
life.
the cup before she drinks it whole. It's
Oh,
fine.
that's ridiculous.
But the reality is that, like I've said this before, is that Republicans have a shot at the midterms, but they have no shot in 2028. Like I
think it's the opposite. Actually,
I fully.
I think we're going to lose the midterms.
No, but here's the reality: is that in 2028, we have to with the current unless something changes. I'm not saying it's not possible to change. I'm not saying it's not possible to fix. But with the current state of things, JD Vance is not only going to lose, or any Republican candidate is not only going to lose, they're going to lose badly.
This is why
and the reality is I'm not saying this just off the cuff of being like, oh, I think they'll lose. The reality is that I know that on the Democrat side, they've replaced a drunk woman who couldn't complete a sentence with a charismatic dude.
But
it's not Trump, dude. It's not Trump running.
Right.
No, but that's the
but
point.
Also, the reason I think it's the opposite is because people legitimately, the number one thing people care about is what's in their pocket. And I don't think, unless maybe the Supreme Court stuff goes through and the tariffs actually get pushed off. I'm anti-tariff, by the way. Unless those get pushed off.
We need a debate about that.
Not right now.
Not right now. I agree. Listen, I'm not.
Oh, I'm gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, you'll lose. And
I literally have a degree in economics. We can talk about
this. Yeah, no, you're gonna lose that debate, but we'll have that debate later. What I'm saying is that
he'll use the Quran.
Listen, this idea. In Surah 6, Ayat 9.
No tariffs, Habibi.
All I'm waiting is Nick to tell me this economy was promised to us 3,000 years ago.
Stop it.
So listen, here's the thing: is people care about what's in their pockets, right? And this idea of like, oh, Trump's saying we got $650 billion because of the tariffs. That's not particularly true. It's just not. And if you have an economy degree, you know this. Yes, the government did get that much money, but it's not from China and these other countries. It's from the pockets of the people that are actually bringing this stuff in. Okay, that's just a fact of the matter. So it's true to an extent, but it's not true for the individual's pocket. And so unless that changes by midterm, I think it's the opposite of what you said, OM. I think it's going to be that we're going to do bad in the midterms. And if that can get fixed by presidential election, that's going to lead to a Republican being voted in because people care about what's in their pocket.
Can I say why I think you're wrong?
You're just not a conservative. I just didn't realize I was talking to a leftist. That's cool. I thought it was.
So the reason why I think you're wrong is here's what's going to happen if Democrats take control of Congress.
Yes, please tell me why protectionism is a good thing as a conservative. Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying that. If Democrats take control of Congress in 2026, what's going to happen for the next 2 years is bullshit impeachment trials. We're going to have investigations, congressional hearings, bullshit impeachments, trials. We're going to have all that. And
I think that would backfire on them.
No, but here's the reality. You're talking about backfiring. Nothing will get accomplished because here's the reality. Donald Trump, I give him an A- as a president. He has done wonderful things through executive order, things that we want to go into law, things the American people support. None of them have been codified through law, meaning that nothing Donald Trump has done so far cannot be undone the first day somebody is the new president. So nothing was accomplished. The Congress has given us no reason to vote for Republicans to stay in power.
Yeah, where's that SAVE Act?
They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything.
But that's not a problem with the executive. That's a problem.
But again, the midterms aren't about the executive.
That's true.
The midterms are about Congress. The president is not up for re-election in 2026. What's up for re-election is the congressional people who have done nothing. Congress has codified nothing.
Do you think they're pausing on the SAVE Act? Do you guys think they're pausing on the SAVE Act to time it perfectly? Because you know,
I'll tell you exactly why they're pausing.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I think they are because I think that timing is everything. The whole SAVE Act thing about voting is that people have very short-term memories. Okay, we watch 30-second videos, we move on, we probably forget about them, an hour later. I think it's all about timing. So I agree 100%. I think that this is all by design, all of it.
Okay. So on realness,
leading up to the
here's what I got for you. I'll bet you that instead, no, we don't have to bet money on it.
Everything, the house, everything.
We don't have to. We'll bet a shot on it that this is not something they are saving before the election. That it is something they are saving to threaten people with during the election. Saying that if you want us to pass this act, you have to put us back in power. And I've said this on social media multiple times. If the Republican-controlled Congress uses things Trump has done and said, you want us to codify it, you have to reelect us, I will campaign for Democrats. Because here's the thing. If Congress is going to do nothing but fuck over the president, I'd rather have Congress be Democrats.
What did acceleration take though? Like you want to, so you sound like what's his name? Clavicle, whatever his fucking name is.
No, wait, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a simple question, Unreal. So say you have a president who wants to do a bunch of things that the American people want him to do, and Congress doesn't do any of it. Is it better that Congress is Republican when they tell the president to go fuck himself? Or is it better that Congress is Democrat when they tell him to go fuck himself?
I would still choose a Republican Congress.
So why?
Okay, so why? I would rather have Republicans be able to set budget, be able to control the rules of the legislative branch because they don't
control budget.
They can change
budget.
The rules.
Control budget. You need a quorum. You need Democrats and Republicans. So they don't control budget. So what about
the majority?
So let me ask you right now. Look at the makeup of Congress. Republicans control the House and the Senate, right?
Mm-hmm.
What have they done that is different than if a Democrat controlled it?
So one, you would have a lot more subsidies. You would have a lot of pork in these bills.
No, both would have to agree.
Disagree.
Let her answer.
I think there would be a lot of pork, in my opinion, that they would just shove in just random hidden shit. I think they would be able to change the rules of the Senate. So they would.
In what bill?
And what do you mean in what bill? So like in specifically the recent CR that was just put forth by the Democrats during the government shutdown. Let me grab it really quick.
Okay.
Senate Bill 2882. So they put in Extended 7-year financing for international development. They put in stuff for climate change. They extended Food for Peace Act, which was foreign funding. They, instead of extending the healthcare subsidies that they already had, they wanted to increase it by 2%. They threw a bunch of random shit in there about teaching health centers that operating graduate medical school for $17 million, increasing 2 separate diabetes programs. I mean, they went to infinity and beyond. Oh, and they wanted an office in the Philippines.
Now, would they have been able to pass any of those things without Republican votes?
It depends if they busted the filibuster.
No.
We're missing one big thing, Joe. We're missing one big thing. Judges. Shout out to Hebrew Hammer, by the way. Judges. We cannot get them confirmed if the Dems control Congress. And that's going to be a big thing after the midterms. And they're also going to stop hearings in Somali fraud. They will do this stuff if they control Congress. Like, that's a big, I agree with what Millie said 100%. But, like, what about judges? That's a big thing.
We are going to lose the midterms badly.
No, I understand, but you said it has nothing to do. You said it has nothing to do with the executive. It's partially.
No, you're right. When it comes to judges, you're 100% right. But the reality is, like, here's my point: is that you talk all about those things Democrats would do. My difference is that all the things that the American people voted for, the Republican-controlled Congress hasn't done any of them.
I mean, they secured the big, beautiful bill. They just codified the certain executive order in regards to housing.
As a conservative, you're happy about the big, beautiful bill?
There's a lot of things that I'm happy with, and there's a lot of things that I'm unhappy with.
Good. So you have a Congress controlled by Republicans that could pass whatever they want. Let me ask you this. Republicans.
I agree with unrealness. I think it's about timing.
No, but Republicans control the Senate and the House.
Right.
What have they passed that was conservative focused?
Lincoln Riley Act. So if a illegal alien were to have any crime on his record, 99%
of the Democrats voted for it.
I don't know if it was 99%.
Yeah, almost every Democrat voted for it. So Trump's president. We let's think about all the things we voted Trump president for. What has the Republican Congress codified?
Hold on one sec.
No, you're going to fight with me about the Lincoln Riley Act.
I just wanted to see if they actually supported it.
No, we know what we voted Trump into Congress for. What has the Republican-controlled Congress made law?
So you had the Lincoln Riley Act, you had the big beautiful bill, which shoved a bunch of shit in like one big whole bill through reconciliation. That's how they were able to shove a lot of things in through simple majority. So they basically fudge packed one huge fucking bill, and that's basically what they've done. Now I'm saying I am relatively disappointed with a lot of things that they're doing. I just listened to the debate on the floor about bail reform and getting rid of cash bail, but I'm more upset about border bill.
Good question. So, does Congress need a single Democrat vote to eliminate cash bail?
I think so. It depends if they filibuster.
No, you don't need the filibuster because the 60 vote rule only applies to financial rules. So, to pass no cash bail, they do not need a single Democrat vote. Why is that not law?
I don't think the filibuster only applies to financials.
It applies to financial and money spent. No cash bail is not money spent, so it doesn't require a single Democrat vote. Why is that not law?
I would have to see exactly what's in the entirety of the bill.
The reality is that. And here's where I got this with unrealness. He's talking about the SAVE Act. The Republicans aren't going to pass it. They're going to use it as ammo and say you must reelect us to get us to pass it. And I'm going to tell you right now that when that happens, I will campaign for Democrats.
I do want to show you though, because I think it's important. They did not support this bill, like barely at all. This is the vote.
Yes, they took a procedural vote, even though they knew they were going to lose.
I mean, they didn't. The Democrats barely voted for this. 159 people on the Democratic side said no to the Laken Riley Act.
Play like they were going to do something, but the reality is that. Oh, good. So the Laken Riley Act is the reason I need to reelect Republicans.
No, I'm not going to say that the Republican Congress has been productive. And I've been highly critical of them.
Here's what I'll ask you: we put Republicans in control of Congress. What have they done that should motivate me to vote for them again?
I'm saying that judges alone should be enough of a reason. During his first term, Trump put in so many judges in the Ninth Circuit. We need more of those. So that, yes, there's going to be dozens and dozens more liberal judges that will be put in, and that's problematic. But at minimum, minimizing that should be more than enough of a reason.
I'm with you 100%. I recognize, but I'm talking about the American people. The American people aren't talking about putting in judges. They're talking about what Congress does. What has Congress done that motivates? Because, like, here's the thing. The big thing was the Democrats are fucking you over. So you need to put Republicans in charge. We put Republicans in charge, and they've done fuck all. So why? What I'm asking you is,
you don't think that the average person's life will change if more liberal judges in the federal
no.
are going to be put in? The Molly fraud hearings are going to get cut down.
That's not what I'm saying. Yes, I think the average American life will change, but that's not how the American voter looks at what have you done for me lately. When they look at Congress, they look at laws, they look at acts, they look at legislation passed. What has Republican-controlled Congress done?
Let's have this conversation again in less than a year, because again, Unrealness could be right. It could be about timing. Now, I can agree with you that they need to do more. Well, okay, we'll see. But I can agree.
Money.
If your argument is that they need to do more, I think all of us on the panel can get behind that. But the judges alone should be more than enough.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But again, you're coming at it from somebody's standpoint who's digging into politics. Like you finding out about the judges. That is somebody who makes political content. That is somebody who was interested in it. The average American is a fucking moron.
Let me tell you
and
something.
they want to look at actions that are taken by Congress. And I'm going to tell you right now, the SAVE Act, the whole everything they're supposed to do, they're going to use that as a leash of why they need to be
This is what needs to happen. You want me to vote Republican again? This is what needs to happen. Okay, the Republicans need to actually take the SAVE Act very seriously. If it's being blocked because it's being filibustered, which yes, it can be filibustered, it does not pertain to just financial stuff. I don't know where that came from. If it's being blocked, I demand the Republicans destroy the filibuster, get it through regardless. You have my vote 100%. Okay, and I think that's what Republicans want. They want fucking action. You want action, and again, it's about timing because it's about perspective. People forget about things. Most people have forgotten about the Laken Riley Act. I mean,
wait, unrealness. You're 100% right. If they push the SAVE Act.
Yeah. Well,
but I will tell you right now, they're not going to. They're going to say they're not going to push you to a filibuster. They're going to say, if you want us to push the SAVE Act, you have to give us more power and reelect us. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, yo, fuck the Republican Party. I'm saying this because I've evaluated the centennial bill, the important bill of every Congress who has tried to get reelected. So if the Republicans do push the SAVE Act before the reelection, they would be the first Congress ever to push the perennial bill, the important bill, before reelection. So could it happen? Absolutely. Unreal, you could be 100% right. But history says you're very fucking wrong.
Well, I don't like to apply modern lenses to the past. But go ahead, Middies.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Unrealness on here, but also as a side note, shifting back to what we were talking about earlier. The problem is that the people that we have that are representing us are getting off the hook. And what I mean by that, by getting off the hook, is that you have every stupid hyperbolic person out there that they're either echoing, defending, or going out there with, pushing their own agendas, trying to get out there and running politics like it's reality television. So they can skate by with doing bare minimum by just talking about all of the stupid popular talking points and not really doing anything, right? So like the second that we start pushing that out the window and stop paying attention to it and shift the narrative back to holding our elected officials accountable, being the voice of the people, that's when we can accomplish it. Because right now you have Israel, you have ICE, you have Venezuela, you have every other talking point other than what you brought up earlier, Older, when it came to logic and liberty, OM, which was what? It was what we need more people talking about what's happening locally. Once we, the people, shift the narrative, when us content creators start focusing on special elections, something that Millie talks about on a regular basis, these are the things that are going to start moving in that direction so we can actually see things get done, because now they can't hide behind the other bullshit that they've been hiding behind. That's the reality of it.
I do think that tax cuts was very important for a lot of people. Just removing the provision of the $600, you have to file a 1099 that they shoved in the American Rescue Plan. And this is why I'm talking about fucking pork, man. They add shit in there that has no business fucking being there. So you had a provision on the American Rescue Plan that if you made over $600 on peer-to-peer transactions, you would have to file a 1099. And before the American Rescue Plan, it was $20,000 before you had to file a 1099. So that kind of stuff, even just not being taxed on your side hustle, is going to go a long way. Increasing the SALT deduction, also going to go a long way. So people are going to feel that in their pockets. And like, I understand it's not enough. I agree it's not enough. I wanted a border bill within the first 6 months of them being in office. I wanted them to reform asylum laws, because that's what's fucking needed if you want to secure everything that Donald Trump is doing. But I'm not seeing that. I did want to touch base with Nick a little bit.
Hey, could I just ask you guys?
Go ahead. What
is the one single thing you think the Republicans need to do to win the midterms?
Pass legislation.
No, not. I don't mean that as like a broad answer. Like actual action. The one thing they need to pass. The one thing they need to do. And I'm not talking about the Republicans. I'm talking about the Republicans in power. What do they need to do to motivate you to vote?
Pass a border bill. They need to pass the border bill. They need to. I mean, there's a couple of things they could pass. They could stop the squatter rights shit on a federal level. The SAVE Act, yes.
The SAVE Act is the biggest one. I'm sorry, it is the biggest one. We need to make sure voter.
So wait, could you tell the chat? Required. Could you tell the chat what the SAVE Act does?
Yeah, it requires a proper form of voter ID. That's just a dumb it down to the smallest
can I ask
denominator.
Though? So how, like, because I'm curious too. How does federal law tell states, because states administrate the election
for their own state? Yeah, not for federal elections.
No, I got you. So what effect would that have?
Well, we would see, people not ever being able to actually vote when they're not supposed to vote. It's that simple.
That doesn't matter though.
Well,
if you pass a federal law, it doesn't change the state regulation of an election.
It absolutely does when it pertains to federal elections. Absolutely, it does.
No, that doesn't though. Because our Constitution gives the power to the states to regulate even federal elections. So if a state doesn't want to have voter ID, there's nothing the federal government can do.
Only when it pertains to their own elections within their state, not when it pertains to federal elections.
No, that's not how it's written in the Constitution.
It is.
No, it's not.
So you're telling me that a state at any point of time, they can say, you know what, anyone can vote in federal elections.
Federal elections, there is no federal law you can pass that will enforce the way a state does elections.
Yes, when it pertains to state elections.
Doesn't matter.
Federal elections. Yes, it does.
What you're going to do,
places like California would just outright allow and openly allow illegals to vote in federal elections.
No, that would be a violation of the Constitution.
As much as I love the conversation, I gotta get home. I got a little one that's acting up, so I gotta go.
All good.
Tap in and give the wife some relief. But
no,
thanks for having me, guys. I think Millie, you're on mute, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Much love, Mideast. I hope you have a great night, and thanks for hanging out with us. Great podcast. Hope you have a good one.
Thanks
Take
for coming
care.
up, Mideast, man. Godspeed to you, brother.
All right.
Later.
Peace, Mideast.
Okay. I want to touch base on this, okay? Because the Supremacy Clause, which is Article 6 of the Constitution, is very clear. It is the Constitution and federal law. Not the Constitution being completely over federal law. It says Constitution and federal law is the supreme law of the land. It does not matter. The 10th Amendment does not supersede federal law. So I could pass a federal bill about fucking anything and all states have to comply no matter what.
I disagree completely.
I think they're going to lose.
The Constitution very much supersedes federal law.
Okay,
Because
so
if
it,
you
it
pass-
says in the Supremacy
No,
Clause of
hold
the
on.
Constitution.
Because if you pass a federal law that is in contradiction to the Constitution wins 10 times out of 10.
It depends because we have two-way
That
laws that
never
have been
depends.
restricted.
Never depends.
It
You
does. It
cannot
depends on the
pass a
judges,
law.
which is why Republicans should
You
maintain
cannot.
the
You
fucking court
cannot.
system.
You cannot pass a law in contradiction of the Constitution
Why do we have pew-pew restrictions then?
because it didn't violate the Constitution.
It does.
What
Shall
about
not
the
be
Patriot Act?
infringed is pretty clear.
What about the Patriot Act? It violates
Yeah.
what, the fourth and the
Yeah,
fifth,
that's-
fourth and fifth amendment.
There's many things that violate the Constitution. It just depends on how they can argue if it does or doesn't, but it absolutely does.
Again, elections are given to the states, even if it's a federal election.
No, it's not.
It is
No, it's not.
You cannot pass
Otherwise, all the blue states will
nationwide
allow
voter
all their
ID.
illegals. No, if that were true, the states would allow all their illegal immigrants just to vote in federal elections.
Here's what's going to happen.
right out the gate.
You're going to pass the, like, let's say Congress did pass the SAVE Act and say, we're going to do this. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to have constitutional challenges through the midterms, so it won't matter.
What part of the Constitution is this laid out?
In the election, God.
I have the Constitution right here. I think it's in Article 1, Section 4.
Well,
Let me
is
get
that
it
the
real quick.
Quran? Make sure you got the right
No,
thing.
this,
Ron?
this
Oh,
one's,
wow.
This one's the one I don't wrap in bacon on my off time.
Oh my God.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy. That's crazy.
I don't do that. Please don't Allahu Akbar me. All right, so I think it's this one.
I never heard Allahu Akbar used as like a verb.
That's crazy.
It's oh.
Says, the
This-
time,
wait, Article
the
1,
time,
Section 4,
places-
Clause 1.
yeah, I'm reading it, douche.
I'm
Anyway.
sorry, my bad.
The times,
Go ahead.
places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to places
There you
of
go.
choosing senators. Yeah, dude, you got fucking cooked, dude.
Absolutely. It's 100% constitutional.
Listen, I don't
No,
mean
hold
to
on,
cook
wait.
you, but
Hold
I
on,
love
wait.
you.
I'm not. My point is that we are. How far are we out from midterm elections? 11 months.
November.
November. Yeah.
So let's call it 10 months. When
Sure.
this case, say they pass it tomorrow, how long do you think the challenges to it last?
That what they would instantly lose. I mean, it's very cut and dry what the Constitution
hold
says
on,
that they can pass
hold
any
on.
law
This
to
is-
regulate it.
Hold on. I'm asking how long the
Well,
court case takes.
Yeah,
not how long the
6
fucking
months.
logic takes.
the
Okay,
Democrats
good,
could
good.
obviously
So
challenge
when
it.
so 6 months. Good. So
yes.
that means we have until June for the Republicans to pass this before it's challenged in court and goes through the midterms before it's effective.
It depends if there's emergency motion that gets brought up to the Supreme Court.
Forces
They
at the top.
can actually get it there quicker if they need
And
to.
the Supreme Court would absolutely fucking prioritize that.
Yeah.
I get it. It's possible, but I don't see, because here's the thing: if
Why are
you
you
have
blackpilling right now, Owen? Come on, man.
no, if
Be a
you
positive Polly. Be a positive
Hey,
Polly, Owen.
Conservatives debating amongst
okay,
themselves.
hold on, wait. I'll
It's okay.
ask straight out.
Sure.
What has Congress done to give you confidence in them?
I guess I'm just there's a few things, but I just want to say, like, there's a lot that they've given me very little confidence on, so I will give you some benefit there. But I'm a glass half full kind of guy, despite the fact
I got
my
you.
glass
You're
has
an
been empty for a
optimist.
while.
You're an optimist.
I am an optimist, 100%.
I'm
I have
not.
some
I'm
answers.
I'm a very realist.
I'm not. I agree with you that Congress needs to do more, but I am also voting for an administration, and that administration has given me a lot of confidence.
I agree with you.
One, Judges, also what they've done with the border, although I'm 100% with Millie. I think for me, number one is the border bill. Very close number two, if not tied with number one, is definitely the SAVE Act. I think those are very important. But that administration is giving me confidence over anyone that the Democrats will put up.
100%. And I just want to say, Nick, when it comes to the executive branch, the administration, I give them an A- through the first year. The only reason I say minus is because Donald Trump is like a guy playing a video game that keeps doing side quests, and I'm like,
I'd like
to
to,
the main
I'd,
shit,
I'd like
right?
to see a little bit more deportations.
I got you. But here's the reality. So the administration, I think he's crushing it. Congress, I give an F. Right. So this is not a doubt of the administration. I think Trump is crushing it because all Donald Trump has ever done since he got elected is do exactly what he said he was going to do, which is all I can expect from a politician. If you do what you say you're going to do, I love you. My problem is that in Congress,
Real conservatives don't want Congress passing a shit ton of bills because
I don't want them passing a bunch.
Smaller government. So I agree with you that some conservatives might take to the voting poll, but I don't think it's as big as you think it is.
So I would like to touch base on what I think Congress is doing, and that starts with the oversight hearings. You would never know about all of the shit that Joe Biden's administration did if they didn't expose that shit. If they didn't go subpoena all the records from AT&T, if they didn't subpoena everything that Jack Smith was doing with Judge Boasberg, you would never know the amount of corruption that happened under the Biden administration. You would never know that Biden's administration pressured Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all of those platforms. We would never know that if it wasn't for the oversight hearings that the Republicans were doing in Congress. We wouldn't know about the fire aid fraud.
No,
we wouldn't be getting hearings about the Minnesota fraud either. You wouldn't have none of that.
I'm with you 100%. And how many people were prosecuted from all those hearings?
Well, that's a failure of Pam Bondi.
That's not what I asked you. What I asked you
Congress
was,
can't prosecute.
No, hold on. You are celebrating hearings, exposing criminality.
That's what Congress
corruption,
does.
Fraud. Hold on. They've done all of that. They've exposed criminality, corruption, fraud, and fucking nobody has been prosecuted. So you're welcome to celebrate the fucking circus. I want shit to actually get done. So when you expose corruption and fraud and criminality and nobody goes to jail, that's a circus. That's going back to the time
But you asked
of
me what
Rome where they
Congress was
said,
doing.
how do you distract the people? With bread and circuses. Welcome to the circus.
But that's not a failure of Congress. That's a failure of Pam Bondi.
that's
Pam
a
Bondi is supposed to be the prosecutor that prosecutes them and
That's
indicts
a
them.
failure of this administration. Because
failure of Pam Bondi.
because you're right.
Yeah, but you asked her about Congress.
You asked me about
but not
Congress.
just about Congress. Why? My point is that you are campaigning to say we should stay in power. And what you're talking about is they've had oversight hearings, and those were good. There were a ton of great clips. They've had exposing corruption, exposing fraud, exposing criminality. They've done all of this. It's been wonderful. And nothing happened. So what we've had is a year of circuses. We've had a year of clips and nothing. We've punished nobody. We've done nothing. Nothing has changed other than we had something on C-SPAN to clip. I'm sorry, if you think C-SPAN clips are the reason I should vote for you, get fucked.
I do agree with you on that. I want to see actual perp walks. I want to see handcuffs. I want to see the whole
I agree
nine.
too.
I agree with you on that 100%.
I've been the loudest on TikTok about Pam fucking Bondi. You can come to my app once a day and hear me say.
Let me ask you, Millie. Millie, have the hearings exposed criminality?
Yes.
Yes, cool. Then here's the thing. That's even worse because you recognize the hearings have exposed criminality. You can see the criminals in our midst that we have in office, and none of them, not only are they not going to jail, none of them are being prosecuted. So here's the thing. If you want me to feel happy or feel excited by the fact that our government is exposing criminals and not prosecuting them, go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. The fact that you exposed criminality and didn't prosecute it, that's worse.
I've been the loudest about Pam Bondi needing to be fired. I don't know what Trump is doing in regards to not firing her, because I think every fucking conservative would say, hey, what's your biggest issue with this administration? It's going to immediately be there's no fucking indictments.
Bro,
there's
I was
no
thinking that about
indictments for
this.
anybody who had done all of this corruption over the last 4 years. No fucking indictments. I even said starting off in this live that if I was fucking president and I was the fucking AG, that I would have Donald Trump invoke the Insurrection Act. I would show up with 3 fucking large ass buses and start zip tying and prosecuting every single one of these people for domestic terrorism.
I love it
because
when she
it
talks
did not
dirty.
stop the J6ers. 300 J6ers were prosecuted for fucking trespassing and seditious conspiracy. They went to fucking jail for assaulting officers. Pam Bondi in an entire year only got 200 people in a year for that type of shit. So I agree with you. She's not doing enough. And I feel
wait,
like
you
the
wanna
biggest
blame-
stain is
and you
Pam
want to blame
Bondi.
Pam Bondi?
She is for fucking sure 100% the reason.
Who appointed her?
100%.
Who appointed her?
Donald Trump, and I think it's his
Who
biggest
confirmed her?
failure.
That's a disingenuous point, dude. I get it. I get
Congress.
it.
So
But
no, no,
Matt
the reality
Gaetz was
hire somebody
originally up
who
for that
fuck up.
position.
I'm
though.
responsible
Guys, here's my
always for the
point.
fuck ups.
No, like the reality is that when you blame Pam Bondi for something, right? You say Pam Bondi needs to prosecute these people, and they don't. And we roll into the midterms. Pam Bondi's still our AG. President appointed her. Congress confirmed her. So when we I would be happier have Pam Bondi never exposed any of the criminal activity, because the fact that she exposed it and didn't fucking prosecute
She didn't
anyone.
expose anything.
No,
the
but-
FBI did. The
No,
oversight.
but the reality is that it's
Yeah, but
been
dude.
exposed. We can see the criminal shit, and we're not prosecuting it.
Yes.
How
What
could
is
you
the, all right?
say?
We're going off in circles. What is your overall argument? Like I think we all agree with
We
some
all
of
agree.
these things,
We
but
do
like,
agree
what
with
is
this.
your actual argument?
The argument is, what has the Republican Party in power, in control of the House, in control of the Senate, in control of the executive branch, in control of the Justice Department?
Judges,
What?
judges in the Ninth Circuit,
Right.
border. There are 0 illegal immigrants crossing the border, right? There are high-end borders. Dude, you're asking for shit.
No, but
that-
here's why.
You're
This is the
asking for
black
what
issue.
they've
Economy.
done.
No,
What
no.
we are right.
I'll
the
tell you why.
economy,
All they
what
did was
you're asking
enforce
for-
law.
This is okay. Got it, and that's great. What your actual argument is, OM, and I love you, man, but your actual argument right now is essentially they need to do better. Everyone agrees with that.
Yes.
But you're asking us questions that do not match your argument. Your questions about what has Congress done, Millie answered that. Your questions about what has this administration done, I've answered that.
I know what the administration's done.
Right.
And
And so
my
what you're
point
saying
is-
is that they need to do
No,
more. They need to
It's-
fire Pam
it's not,
Bondi.
it's not about that. My point is, if you're because for the midterms, you need to inspire people to vote. You need to give them a reason to put you back in office, like you've done something. And sure, you're
I
right.
agree.
When you look at it from the judge's perspective, that is a perspective of somebody who understands politics, who understands things that happen.
Why do you not understand timing then when we talk about pushing legislation
Right.
forward? Why is this so difficult for you to
I
understand?
already told you, if you're right about the SAVE Act, then that's a great play. I think you're wrong, because I can only judge politicians off of what they've actually done. I don't go, oh, here's the best case scenario of what politicians do. I'm going off of what they have done. And Nick is 1,000% right. The judge play
Right.
alone is a reason to reelect Republicans.
Yeah, but
You're-
people,
but again,
Americans
that's
that are
somebody who's educated.
But
on
Americans who are
politics.
not educated, they're just gonna vote because someone has an R in front of their name, anyways. That's just how they
Facts.
vote.
Yes,
right?
but,
And then
but
that's
here's
something
no, no,
that-
no. But
Well,
here's the difference.
Americans,
Here's the
bro.
difference. Here's the difference. A good example. In the vote when we had McCain versus Obama, right? We expected Republicans to vote because it was a Republican. You had 17% of registered Republicans come out to vote. The first time Trump got elected, you had 78% of Republicans come out to vote. Registered Republicans come out to vote. The second time, you had 48% of registered Republicans come out to vote. Hold on. And then the most recent election, you had 83% of Republicans that were registered come out to vote. Now, I will tell you that the energy is already gone. And I'll prove it to you real quick. The energy is already gone because in the elections, when Trump was running for office in Miami, you had 84% participation of the Republican registered voters. In the most recent mayoral election in Miami, you had 12% because the energy is gone. So the reality is that the energy is gone and it has to be reignited by action. It cannot be you're Republican, you need to vote against the Democrat, because that we know that doesn't work.
I disagree. I think that the Miami situation was the fact that nobody knew that special election was happening. And I think
really quiet.
The biggest
Super
problem, the biggest problem with Republicans and their voter base in period is that they only show up every 4 years. Okay.
Yeah,
They say
I
fuck
highlighted
off
this.
midterms,
Yeah.
fuck
true.
off special
Yeah,
elections,
this is
fuck
true.
off
This is
local
true.
elections.
I won't argue
At the
that.
very beginning of this podcast.
I'll tell you right now what Democrats are doing. They're all sitting there in like 5 different Reddit
Yeah,
chats going,
100%.
yep, this election's next. We're all going to fucking line up. Make sure you grab all your fucking Somalis and your Afghanis. And we're going to go down there and we're going to for everyone to fucking vote because nobody's going to investigate.
I'm on my way,
this
Habibi.
and nobody's going to get indicted. Like
Nobody's
that's
investigating
what
that.
it fucking is.
This is
bro.
here's
Millie's
what I
100%
want.
correct.
No,
She's
that's
absolutely
true,
correct.
and we did highlight this. And what I want to see from the conservative, not Donald Trump, not this administration, not even Republicans, from conservatives, what I want to see that I think we're pointing away from in America that has led to a culture like what Millie just pointed out. I want to go back to the nuclear family, stop demonizing the nuclear family, start getting rid of abortions and stuff like that, and go back to a base
Keep
of
breeding.
conservative values. Yeah. Yes, breed more.
Breathe harder.
But
Make
can I ask you guys?
babies.
Can I ask you guys a question? Well, who is the
No.
RNC chair? Anybody?
Nobody knows.
RNC
the secret.
chair. Yeah,
It's
I know
Joe
his name, but
Grutters, okay?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who the fuck this man is. He's the head of the RNC, okay? So on top of the fact that the biggest Achilles heel of this party has always been the AG with Trump's administration. It was Jeff Sessions, it was Bill Barr, now it's Pam Bondi. It's always been the Achilles heel of Donald Trump's administration. It's just the lack of fucking prosecutions. But I also think the RNC chair is fucking night. I don't even see this man out on national television. He's the RNC chair.
well,
All right,
who's
real
the
quick.
DNC chair right now?
You gotta bounce.
I'm sure my live wants me to get into arguing with Muslims and pro-Palis and talk about, I'm sure they're going to want to bring this up. So I'm going to get back to my normal live. I love the conversation. This is normally when I would drop OM anyways, and he starts slaying his word and yelling at me. And I text him, I love you. I ask him every time I bring him up, and then I say, you know the rules. And the second he slurs one word, even if it's by accident, I just drop him. And then I text him, hey, love you, bro. No, this is a great chat, and I hope we can do this again sometime. And
Absolutely.
What do you think, Nick, about maybe
Yeah, go for
doing
it.
this like every 2 weeks or maybe once a month or
yeah,
something
I'm
like that?
totally down. Yeah,
I just
even
think
two.
this is needed.
I think every 2 weeks is great. And even if that means hey, this day I can't show up, but I'll show up to the next one. If we do them more often, I'll do as much as I can. I think it's great, especially the timing, because I can go right into my live.
Perfect. Yeah, 'cause I think there needs to be a push on influence, and obviously it can't be Candace Owens. I'm glad to see her fall from grace. So
Yeah, and hopefully we can also get more call to action. I think we're bringing the problems out with this talk, and obviously we have some different opinions, which is great. And where can we, how does that call to action translate to real life? And I think that's something we can start pushing towards.
focusing on special elections, being informative
Absolutely.
and letting people know when the next elections are. Speaking of which, Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat is up March 10th. Okay.
Yes.
Do we
Coming
know-
up very
do we know
soon.
who the Republican running for her seat is?
They're
No.
not. They don't have
Not
one.
yet.
They're looking for one right now.
I'll do it.
So
Oh,
Joe,
do it,
Joe,
do
go
it.
move
Get
to
out there.
Georgia. Joe, go move to Georgia.
First of all, I'm going to be real with you. To save this country, I am not willing to move to Georgia.
Fuck
But listen, really quick, Nick, I want to
Yeah.
say, man, it's been an absolute honor talking to you. I don't know how I haven't really ran into you
Because we do lives at the same time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it's true.
you don't argue Israel.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, I dumpster dive on Islamic fundamentalists on a regular basis. But Nick, I look forward to having further conversations with you. Thank you so much for doing this. And I
Absolutely,
think that
brother.
this conversation, if you guys haven't listened to Tony L, he was talking about doing this. We need it. We these conversations are
Wait,
important.
who's Tony
Oh,
L?
I need Tony L. I should have
Yeah.
messaged
Wait,
him.
who's Tony L?
He's a black conservative.
man, beautiful white beard.
He lives in New York. I
Is
think
he a
that
Well, he lives in
TikTok
Florida,
guy?
I think, but he's back and forth, New York and Florida. Yeah, he's a TikTok guy. Yeah, Tony L, fantastic creator. But yeah,
Tony talks.
Tony
is it-
Tony
he has
L.
multiple accounts. Tony
Like
L.
this guy. Hold on.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
him. Yes,
Yeah,
that's him.
I do
Yes.
know that guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
he's
y'all.
Good night, Nick. Have a great night. Thanks for
See you guys
hanging
in
out
the-
with us.
Yo,
See you guys in the next
Godspeed
one.
on your endeavors, sir. Take care.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Good night.
But
And
no, like,
then there was 3.
But no, the reality is like but the reality is that
Well,
like
that's way too close. What the fuck is
you
happening here,
you
bud?
somehow for Unreal, like you somehow managed to avoid like and this is not an insult of your life. Like
What
please
did I
please
avoid?
don't take this as an insult, but you somehow, I don't know how your life does it, but you somehow managed to avoid the liberal intellectual. Like you
know,
get
they
you
come
get
up.
functional fucking retards in your life. Like you get people who come in, they're
What
like,
do
I
you
like
mean?
liberal. There's a
What
free
liberal,
reign.
what liberal intellectual have you ran into recently?
Go to Nick's live.
Zero.
Go to
I
Nick's
haven't
live.
ran-
You
I
get
haven't ran into a single one in a while.
Like this is the crazy thing about Nick's live, and it's the same thing with like Millie's live. Like Millie gets people who want to drill down on like deep economical topics and talk about numbers and do those
I
things.
just did it yesterday with fucking tariffs and we talk about gas and eggs and beef and
Yes,
pork and
but-
chicken.
I wanted to
What do you
debate Nick
mean?
on tariffs though, because I truly think that tariffs are actually a conservative economic standpoint.
No,
and
tariffs are wonderful.
laissez-faire trade is actually a classical liberal standpoint. So
No,
I wanted to touch
and that's
base.
why
but
when
maybe
Nick
another
said
day.
he doesn't support tariffs, I was like, oh, I will debate you on that because
All right, go ahead.
I
finish your
literally spent my
disparaging
last
comments.
my
Go
life
ahead. No,
doing
finish your,
international
finish your
economics.
disparaging comments really fast. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't disparaging. The difference is that you somehow attract the fanatics
It's
of the people
hilarious.
the
He
people who
opens
don't
the door to chaos.
like you and I don't think it's on you because like you're obviously a very brilliant person, but your lives, I think you get a couple crazy people and the crazy people attract crazies. And instead of showing up and being like, let me tell you why this economic principle matters, they show up and they're like, money's bad, right? Like that's what you get. It's so wild to me.
No, listen. I'm not going to be dismissive of your claim, but yesterday, just as an example, I had a person come up talking about tariffs, and they don't understand like offset of like of overall energy costs or fuel costs and how it offsets tariffs. And we talked about beef prices, chicken prices, egg prices, and everything I was talking about went over his head. I don't get to choose who comes up.
That's
Okay, I just
my
click-
point.
It's-
That's my point. The
I
difference
prepare
is
for
in
these
Millie's live.
conversations.
Millie's live, she would have quoted beef and economic prices of people, and they would have
And
been
I
like,
did, and I presented the data sets.
no,
and-
no. I'm not saying you're wrong or you have a problem. The difference is, had Millie done that in her live, it would have been
People
somebody
think
who
Millie's
go-
going to be stupid because she's a
No.
woman. That's
No,
why
the
they do
difference
it.
is- no,
They
the
think
difference
she's gonna
is-
be dumb because she's a
no,
woman.
no. The difference
And they
is
come
the
up and they
people.
I
tell
should
they're
dye my
stupid.
hair blonde and
No, the
make it
difference
more-
is people would have came at Millie and been like, where the tradable price was this and blah blah blah. But in your live, you say all the same smart shit Millie does.
No, she's
the
better
difference
than
is
me.
in your
Don't put me on that pedestal.
The
Don't put me on
difference
that.
is in your live, you say the same thing and they go, "Durr, you're racist." Like it's so fucking wild to me.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But the thing is
But
that Millie. Here's the thing. Millie
on
is
my
so
on my
innocent
live
looking.
on
And
my
she's
live
so innocent
though,
looking.
I push people into a corner and give them no out. I will literally
do.
walk them into a direction where there is nowhere else to go until they crash the fuck out, say I'm a racist fucking bitch, and that was it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know who I'm really important is? Older millennial. He was on
Ooh.
Jubilee. Okay, he's a debater on TikTok. I debated him into defending Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, I was
I
there
put
for that.
him into a corner
Hold
where
on,
there
hold
was
on,
no
hold on.
other escape, and
Hold
he
on.
defended Epstein.
He did.
Ow. Ow.
Okay, I cornered him in with Stacey Plaskett about the accountability and holding Stacey Plaskett accountable.
Yes.
And
Right.
this man literally goes, "I hate to defend Epstein here," and I'm like, What?
Yikes.
It's like-
That's
I
the
was-
worst way to start a sentence.
He was a
By the way, I will tell you in 2026, there is no worse way to start a sentence.
Wait,
Well,
there's no way you don't know this man.
The,
Hold
the
on.
thing is,
I
the
don't.
thing is,
I don't know who you're
OM,
talking about.
The thing is, OM, here's the thing. Let me explain this to you. People approach Millie because they think she's not going to know what she's talking about because she is who she is. She's a woman. She's a great.
Yeah, they were like,
girl.
let's go
They're
yell
going
at
to
the
think
pretty
she's gonna-
girl.
yes, they think she's going to be stupid, and then they come to find out, oh, my asshole hurts. She just reamed me sideways with a broomstick. Okay, that's why.
Broken
OM.
off.
Yeah, she stucks it in, no lubricant, dry, and then she snaps it sideways so it's stuck in there, and then
Damn,
kicks it
Daniel.
out.
People don't notice the big fucking rock that's on that hand, by the way. I noticed that, like, god damn.
It's beautiful.
It is.
So I wanted to show you him, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna recognize him when I show you this guy
Yeah, he's a fucking joke.
on Jubilee. You don't remember him debating Ben Shapiro about the missing
No,
kids?
no, I watched Ben shit on a lot of people. No.
Okay, I'm telling. I have it recorded. If you,
He's on
like I'm
TikTok
telling-
as I'm really important.
Yes, and also he spends a lot of money to promote himself. His chat is stagnant at 13,000 viewers. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
all it's all DNC money, bro. And he's the worst. He's not even worth actually acknowledging, to be honest with you. He's bottom of the barrel.
He has 46,000 followers.
And yet still pulls thousands and thousands of viewers. Again,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be real with
it's
you.
all fucking bots. The guy has
He-
the intellect
It
of a
looks
fucking
like
turtle.
it looks like he averages about 18,000 views.
Right, that's on his static videos.
This
I'm talking
man
about his
has
lives.
interviewed politicians.
Yes, because again, it's all bought and paid for. This isn't organic.
It's
I
the
can tell you
same
right
as
now,
Harry and Parker and Dean. They have people
s-
just lined up politician wise to interview.
Yeah,
Well, I can tell
and
you
it's-
about Harry,
promotion
Parker, and
pays.
Dean that they have the original. So TikTok used to do a program where an organization could pay to make sure you never got banned, you never got a violation. And they're all part of that group.
Guys, we're dealing with people.
Must
who
be
are paid.
nice.
I
We're
wish.
dealing with people who are being literally paid. They themselves aren't paying it, but they're paying for promotion. They're boosting everything. Has either of you ever paid for boosting your content?
No.
No,
No,
'cause-
somebody suggested me to do it. I never even knew what it was, and because they were like, "Oh, just hit the promo button," and then I hit the promo button. I was like, "Wait, this is like paying to get pushed to the FYP," and they're like,
I
"Yeah,"
do-
and I'm
I
like,
do
"Nah,
wanna
I
point
wanna be
out-
Pay to win.
authentic."
There's a pay to win.
I
Yeah.
do want to point out though that for like the last 3 months, I've had my pay cut drastically on TikTok.
You think that's by design?
No, but I do have to say that this month is not included.
Well, good for you, brother. Godspeed. You're
Like
by the way,
and here's the thing: I made a video 3 days ago
I saw that. I was
saying
about to
that
mention
TikTok doesn't know you a fucking cent, and now I'm balling out. So like, I just want to say that if that happened, thank you, TikTok.
Also,
Well, while you're doing great on TikTok, I'm getting fucked by TikTok because I can't keep my lives up for more than fucking 3 days.
yeah, I'm going through that as well. And OM, you're not helping me out sometimes, bro. Listen, your contact needs to be my contact at this fucking point, bro. This
Right?
is crazy.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
And it
Here's
wasn't
the
even
thing.
your fault, actually. It
If
wasn't
Give us
you guys,
names.
if you guys need help with TikTok, tell me what's going on, provide me evidence of what's going on, and I can send it because my contact is the US head of policy. And here's the funny thing, just for conservatives to know. So when I had my meeting with TikTok, I met the US head of policy, very liberal woman, and I met the global head of policy, who is an extremely conservative guy. Like I talked with him for probably an hour, and I'll tell you this guy has this is the global head of policy for TikTok. This is a guy who has worked for every single Republican campaign for president since Reagan. Like, this is a super Republican. Like, if you were going to be like, put the fucking R shield on somebody, it would be this dude. And when I talked to him about conservative suppression and things like that, he told me, he goes, here's the reality. He said, it's not at our level. He's like, if conservatives are being suppressed, we don't see it. It's not a policy of ours. He's like, could there be local moderators that are trying to shut down your content? He said, absolutely. He's like, that could happen. It could happen locally. People hate your stuff and they don't want you to grow. He's like, but I can promise you, and I looked up his history. I promise you, it is not a TikTok policy to suppress conservatives.
I don't dispute that. My issue is that these people
the
are not being
mass
held
reporting.
accountable.
It's the mass reporting.
The moderators are not being held accountable. By the way, the money that we make going live, if it's $20 or $200 or $300 going live, and they cut us off, they take a gigantic portion of it. So what they're actually doing is hurting their own revenue.
I agree with you, but here's the benefit.
They need to be
just so you guys understand the benefit of verification. So here's the biggest benefit of verification. It's not the blue check mark. It's if my live gets mass reported or my video gets mass reported. If Millie's video gets mass reported, it goes in front of an AI that reviews the video. If your live gets mass reported, it goes in front of an AI that reviews the video. If my live or my content gets mass reported, it is required that it goes to a person. And then the best part is the review does not go to a mod. It goes to the U.S. head of policy who reviews my video. So that's why, like, I may get taken down, but within 5 minutes, I'm going to be back up. Or my video may get taken down. Within 5 minutes, it'll be back up because my video has to go to real people. Now, they can't do that with everyone because there's just not enough fucking people. But that's the biggest benefit of being like a good example. On my account, since I got verified, I have 0 community guideline violations. Not a single one. Now, I've been taken down and reported for 500. Don't have a single one because it gets reviewed by actual people.
Yeah, my problem is I have people who mass report me, and it's not just people on the left. Okay, remember Justin, man? Justin sits there on like 6 fucking accounts, constantly fucking reporting my lives, just trying to get me taken down every single day. And TikTok does nothing about the people who mass report shit. And I'm only going over the news, and I'm telling you, I'm being so fucking PC, and my chat can tell you every other word I'm saying allegedly, in my opinion. I have even a thing at the top of my live that says my opinion only. And I'm still getting taken down for community guidelines every single week. I don't think I have a record of being up longer than 3 days.
No, I mean, and it does get ridiculous. It does. And I get that. And again, I've experienced this,
Yeah.
Like you've been around me on TikTok. I've been censored and fucked over a billion different times. And I really wish there was a way to address it. That was actually enforceable, but there isn't, because like when we get, like, the way they look at it is this: somebody comes on live and does pedo content, right? We need it taken down. Can't wait for it to get to people. We need AI to recognize it and take the shit down, because if you wait for a person, this guy's going to be live for 6 hours.
Yes.
Right. And they apply the same thing to everything. It's not a perfect process. And just to be clear, I ain't fucking defending TikTok because I'm on my 68th account. This shit is not defending TikTok, but the way it works is stupid, but there really is no better way to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's just my struggle on TikTok. And unfortunately, if they keep doing this shit, like I'm not going to go make 30 fucking accounts. Like, I know when you were doing your ban evasion thing, you were making like 50 fucking, I don't have the fucking patience for all of that. I just want to be on an application.
Make the emails. Millie Sushis 1, Millie Sushis 2, Millie says pre-make all of them.
Yeah.
I actually made so many accounts for TikTok accounts that I paid a guy on Fiverr to make them for me.
No, check this out.
Damn.
So I had access on my alt account to Studio for about 2 days. Okay, before I even had 100 followers on that account, and then even after 1,000, 12, 1,300, whatever followers I have on the account, I cannot access Studio. I can go live, but I cannot do it on my computer. I have to do it on my phone. They deny my access. I have no idea what that is. They don't tell me why. They just say as soon as I hit apply, it says revoke.
They don't care.
So when we get off of this,
yeah, I'll show you.
I want to Discord with you because I have my access, so I'll go through my channel and see if I can get access.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. As soon as I click it, it says revoke.
But you're going through like normal Studio.
Yeah, through Studio.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll take it through my version of Studio and see if I can get in.
Yeah, just like I would go live on my main account, I would go through Studio, and then I hit apply. I don't know how I got revoked in the first place.
No, I don't have apply. Like I can access anyone's account here.
Yeah, well, when I do it, it just says instantly, boom, revoked.
No, but if it works, I'll just give you my login for it.
Well, we'll talk about that later. But
all right, you guys. I think it's about time. We're
For sure.
approaching the 3 hour on.
No, I
podcast.
have economics to talk shit about. No, I'm just kidding.
You son of a
Bitch,
bitch.
don't make me pull out the abacus because I can.
So
go
there we
fucking
are,
numbers.
and tariffs were garbage.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Which one? 232 or 301?
Look, the only tariffs I liked were when Biden doubled the tariffs on the Chinese.
You know what
was
the
good.
tariffs I like? The ones that we had ever since before 1913. You know, the way that we ran our country since 1776, and then we decided to be absolute dumb fucks, put the 16th Amendment in place, and then invoke the IRS to come track your shit.
Well,
You didn't
that's
have to do tax returns at the end of the year if you were just a regular taxpayer citizen. You would just go out there and do your consumption tax, and you wouldn't have to pay a CPA at the end of the year to look at your shit. You wouldn't have to guess, I wonder how much I owe the IRS this year. You wouldn't have to do that because you already paid it through consumption.
Well, that's why I say when people say that Israel owns our country, and I say rich
No
people,
way, bro.
rich people own our
No
country.
way.
And no.
Don't
The
do
reality is that since 1913, the rich people own our country, and the Israelis couldn't afford to buy it from them.
Stop the cab. Stop the cab. Listen,
Look,
we're
I'm gonna tell you right now,
owned by dumb fucks.
ever since you sunk the Titanic, we can't afford to buy our country back.
Not the fucking Titanic. Listen, ever since I saw Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca and we stumbled into a skiff.
Yeah, but that ass though.
Trip
That ass,
and
though.
stumble into a skiff.
Yeah,
Like,
things
look,
that never
all I
happened
knew
for
was-
500.
All I knew is he didn't see Kirk because he didn't say nothing about that fatty.
I just want to know the background of how quick they were able to find like his 3 ex baby mamas and how every single one of them was like, yeah, they're a
Did
piece
you
of
you
shit.
heard the best thing about Mitch Snow, right? Is that 7 days before he told Candace all this crazy shit, right? He had claimed online, he had tried to get on podcasts and shows claiming that his father
was the Zodiac
was the
killer?
Zodiac killer. And then 7 days later, he got Candace to believe that the son of the Zodiac killer just happened to be as a E4 happened upon one of the most secretive meetings to have. Like, I went to Fort Huachuca for interrogation school. There is no base in America other
More
than
secure.
Fort Monmouth that is more secure than Fort Huachuca, where like everything is, are you read on to come here, show your ID? But he wants us to believe that an E4, a specialist, somebody who should be doing fucking maintenance duty, happened upon one of the most secretive government assassination meetings in history, murdering a friend of the president, and he just stumbled there. Like,
oops.
Look, let me just tell you right now, if you believe that, you're not stupid, you're retarded.
Oh, thank God we can say retarded on this platform.
Bro, no, listen, watching her podcast just every week go, dude, watching her own followers go, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. It's the best part.
I love
Evan
that she,
Clicor,
I love that she celebrated being number one because it made it so much better that currently she's 64th. Like, I love that she was like, we're number one. And I was like, you're going to regret doing that. She was like, we're number one. And I was like, you're right. You're number one. This is the third time she's been number one. The first time she was number one
thought
was Amber Heard trial. Second time she was number one was Macron. This is her third time being number one with Charlie Kirk. And now she's back to 64th. And I was like, I'm so happy that you celebrated being number one. I'm so thrilled she did that.
I'm never going to forget her interview with the half-baked fucking CNN. Like, I would love to debate Candace.
Can I ask you a question
love to debate her.
about that?
Go ahead.
So you saw that same lady's interview with Tim Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I have to ask, is she high or is she fucking
slow?
Retarded?
I think she's just slow. I think she's probably half baked. A little bit of both. Like, she probably got high, lost some brain cells, and then that's the result.
No, she saw dollar signs. It's that simple. She saw dollar signs.
No, not her. We're talking about the girl interview.
Talking about the
interview girl.
Oh, interview girl.
Because like when
her-
she interviewed Tim Dillon, she was like, "Oh, you know." And then when she interviewed Candace, Candace just said some shit in her half stoned, half retarded state. She goes, "I thought it was text." And it was like, is she high or is she slow? Like, does she have a touch of the tism? Like, what's going on here?
Millie, I want to point out that we have reached over 1,000 subs. So
are we there yet?
We have broke 1,000 subs, and 3 people disliked this live stream. Fuck you, 3 people.
By the way, if you dislike the live stream, I hope you get punched in the clitoris.
Hold on. I have this for us. Well, here's the thing. I think we finally got monetized, which is great.
Yeah.
I'll be working on making.
Oh, congrats!
some
You got monetized on YouTube.
Yeah,
I think
monetized
probably
and stickers.
today.
We have stickers
Yeah.
now. We have stickers and we have AdSense. So AdSense, you have to go through that whole process, Millie. So have fun with that. That shit sucks.
Lovely.
Let me see.
Hold on
Let me see your live. Hold on. I'll tell you whether or not you got that. Let's see.
While you're doing that, I have, of course, the best clip. I would love to debate Candace because I feel like if she ever went up against somebody who would aggressively debate her, I think she would fall apart.
Oh, you brought her up.
I think she would fall apart. Like just pushing her into a corner. Although I think she'd just be a screamer and scream over you. Like I get that crash out vibe from her.
Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him. What do you mean? I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious. And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what? I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
Do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
I actually did not read that they were text messages. ...
Read the indictment.
Maybe actually fucking read it, you dumb bitch.
That was the most damning statement she made when she said, "I didn't read that they were text messages." We were like, "Well, that means you didn't read the indictment."
She didn't read any of it. She didn't read shit.
I just don't know an investigative reporter that would just not immediately read the indictment. And I did this many times in debating people on my lives who were supporting Candace. And I said, every time I have said something in absolute confidence in regards to a case like this, it's because I read the fucking court documents and I know them because I've read them. I would always bring you a fucking receipt. You want a receipt for that? I got you. I have like a whole library of fucking receipts to give you. This chick is like, read an indictment.
But
What?
do you think that her interview style is to be chill and let people dig their own grave?
I think it's a soft approach. I mean, I've seen other CNN reporters that are much more aggressive in commentary. I just didn't see that from this woman. I think she's just like that hippie, like I'm not confrontational. But I'm just gonna let you hang yourself with your own rope. That's the vibe that I get from her. But it made it all the much the better because she really was just like, these are basic questions. Did you read the indictment? By the way, it's hypocritical of her to be like, oh, well, there was no timestamps while this bitch is actively releasing text messages with 0 fucking timestamps, 0 fucking dates, multiple times that she was doing this throughout her entire investigation. And notice how it got really fucking quiet about the Brigitte Macron's trying to assassinate me.
Yeah, what happened to
That
that?
story got very fucking quiet. She
Of
covered
course.
that up with the whole Fort Huachuca thing. And I
Because
promise you it's because that judge is about to put a fucking gag order on her
the
ass.
biggest thing is that throughout all of this, she told us in the beginning that there is a Egyptian / Israeli / baguette hit squad trying to
Baguettes.
murder her. and I'm gonna tell you right now that, like, if I thought there was a quad country murder squad for me in the nation, I'm gonna be super fucking worried about what goes on. But like, the reality is, you go, Candace, you go, you're not behaving like someone who actually believes there's a multi-country hit squad out for you. Like, the reality, it is, but now, thankfully, she has really gotten to the point where the shit she's saying is starting to look insane. With, like, who did she just call a robot? Did she just call someone a robot?
Elon.
Yeah, she's like
Like,
questioning
she's
if it's
actually a
real person.
robot or a lizard person. Like,
Bruh.
Candace has reached the level of the
We're a
guy
li-
who go,
we're a lizard
like, of the
people.
guy who does this, like,
You know,
aliens.
you know what's
Right?
bad when Alex
I don't-
Jones
his
is
name's
calling
like-
you out.
Kustakos or whatever he is. You know what I'm talking about? Where he just goes, aliens. That guy. That's the level she's at.
Literally. Yeah, literally.
But Alex Jones, of all people, okay, like the conspiracy guy himself, is
real.
also out there like, bro,
That's-
bitch, this is too much.
Well, that's
This
only
is going
because
too far."
that's only because Israel has bought him.
So here's her court case, by the way. With
Oh
the
yeah,
Macron.
I've read this whole fucking thing.
I've been tracking this every fucking week just to see if there's ever going to be a fucking emergency motion for her trying to explain herself, because I guarantee you they're going to come with an amended complaint
she's-
going,
she's al-
your
she's already-
client, what?
No, her explaining herself is what is going to make her lose this. Because at every step of the way, she's like, I demand biological photos. They send her biological photos. They were like, I demand photos of her growing up. They send her photos. The difference, this is the basis of the lawsuit. They were like, everything she's demanded, each step of the way we have sent her, and she has never acknowledged that we sent them to her. She's only ever ignored them and pressed the issue. That's why she's going to lose, because to prove defamation, you need malicious and intentional persecution. And now they have it, because everything she's asked for, they gave her along the way. And never once did she ever acknowledge what she was sent. She only ever, they sent her baby photos. She then the next day would make a whole episode about how they don't have baby photos. She has intentionally pressed against information she had. That's why she's going to lose. And it's going to bankrupt not only her, but her husband.
Yeah, she was supplied this photo and many photos, and I've talked about this ad nauseum. I think it's crazy that she even is still trying to push this. What is she hoping to achieve? Does she really think she can win this thing?
Well,
No, she never thought she would be sued.
Well, one, remember at the beginning of all of this, she said, I can't wait for the Macrons to sue me because then that opens them up to discovery. But throughout this entire fucking case, Candace Owens and her legal team has been making motions to dismiss this, not waiting for discovery to come out and everything included in it. She's been trying to get this dismissed over and over and over and over again. And by the way, she is up.
Just to let you know, 12 times.
Yes. And she right now is actually supposed to finish putting in her entire supportive motion. They've had to redo this multiple times. So that court date's already been done. So this next week, we should be getting some updates actually in this case. But I guarantee you the Macrons are going to file an amended complaint going, oh, by the way, your client is saying that we have an international hit squad trying to kill her. And she's now alleging that we're out to murder her. So can we see the evidence for that as well? Because she's going to have to prove these things in order to be like, this isn't defamation.
Like,
You're gonna have to show
I
this in a lie.
I got to give the Macrons credit. They gave her every opportunity to get out of this. They really did. Like she was like, I need this. They were like, here you go. Like they literally did. They gave her every opportunity to not get sued. And when here's the best part. She claims she's some poor woman getting sued. They're trying to sue to stop the voice. When they sued her, the Macrons have a combined net worth of $7 million. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. $7 million is a lot. However, they are suing a woman who her joint marital value is $152 million. So you have people. So the Macrons are the small fry here. They have $7 million, and they are suing somebody worth $152 million. And the worst part is that her unless there was some, because like obviously her marriage is fake. She married a gay dude who got her who turkey basted her to 4 kids and made her children. But this gay dude is about to pay out. Her gay husband is about to pay out his ass for this. She's going to lose badly because like the Macrons were honest about it. They were like, here's the email where she said, we want photos. We sent her photos. She said, we want birth records. We sent her birth records. She said she wanted biological records. We sent her biological records. And then they attached in the lawsuit, if you actually read the full lawsuit, they have, this was what she requested. This is what we sent. And then they include a video of her new episode the next day talking shit directly about how they didn't send what she asked. And they were like, she intentionally took what we said, pretended we didn't send it to her, and complained about it. He is going to lose. Like, this is the most obvious case of defamation ever.
Yes. And it's going to be a huge embarrassment for her when this is finally done. And I guarantee you this will probably end with a settlement. If I'm going to be honest, she'll probably settle this quietly and hope that her following
she's going to pay the Macrons about $50 million. But here's the thing. If the Macrons are smart, what they're going to say is, no matter what you settle with, we need an admission of wrongdoing.
So much that she's already had to walk back. But
and just to be clear, I want to ask everybody.
I'm trying to walk back to my bed at this point. So
let's
wait.
Hold on, wait. Just to be clear with Macron, let's just say Candace was 100% right. Let's just say everything she said is 100% right. let's say that Macron's wife is actually a man, and Macron is gay as fuck. He's banging a dude, right? Like that. Macron's wife whips out a dick and fucks him every night. Here's the question: what was the point? Like, was the
That is a
whole
good question.
intention? Was the
Yeah.
whole intention to call the French president gay? Because
I
at the end of the
guess.
day, that's all it is. At the end of the day, what you're saying is the French president is fucking a dude. I'm sorry, it's the French. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't. They don't care.
So, like, say she's right. Who fucking cares?
No one. I think she was looking for a story because during that time that this started, she was at Daily Wire. And so she was looking for a story because she's fucking brainless and can't go find something to actually report on. And she's like, I know. I'll just, for clicks, I'll just say that Brigitte Macron is a fucking dude. She has a fucking penis. And I'm going to go look into the entire backstory of Brigitte Macron. And for some reason, people tuned in and listened to that shit. And then she ran out of shit until Charlie Kirk died. And then she stand on Charlie Kirk's fucking grave, shitting all over everything that Charlie Kirk ever fucking loved. Is the most disgraceful
But
thing I've
I
ever seen.
kind of wish Brigitte had just whipped out her dick and slapped it on the table and been like, "Who cares?"
Yeah,
The table,
well,
slap
people
her in the
like-
fucking face with it. You want to
People
see
like
my cock? Here
sensationalism,
it
guys.
is.
People like sensationalism. They like, especially women, ladies. I'm sorry, you guys watch those true crime murder mysteries. Okay, you eat this shit up. You love it. You love the question marks. Question marks get you off. Let's be fucking real here. Okay,
You want the
It's just true.
truth about that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's true.
Yeah, but the reality is that at the end of the day, the argument is, did the president of France fuck a dude?
Probably.
And I got to tell you right
I
now,
just don't care.
I lived in Paris for 6 months. They don't care. I can tell you right now, if somebody's fucking a dude, like, people may have a problem with it in America. Sure, you may find those bigoted motherfuckers in France. They really don't care. You could have pulled out a dick the size of the Eiffel Tower. They would have been like, good for you. It does, like, I wish Brigitte had whipped it out and just let it unfurl like Beetlejuice in the movie, where it's like,
I think she's
just
hung like a
just
mule.
done that. Like, it wouldn't have mattered, because the argument is the president of France is fucking a guy. It's France. They don't care.
So really quick, I wanted to touch base on something on Realness.
Now, if you,
and then we
no,
can
no,
all
I
go to
just
bed.
want to say real
Yes.
quick, had you done the same thing in Saudi Arabia, it would have been a lot more interesting.
100%.
Absolutely.
So
I don't disagree.
last thing before I go to bed, because you mentioned the true crime thing about, like, you don't understand why women watch it. I think women watch true crime for the reason that women are most likely to die in like homicides. And I think for some reason, like, women think like, hey, maybe if I watch enough of this, I'll figure out what went wrong. And then so I won't get fucking brutally chopped in and dismembered and shit like that. The second reason that people watch true crime and women watch true crime is Forensic Files, the narrator on that shit. I could sleep to his fucking voice. I don't know what it is.
And
It's
then
just-
she entered the room.
Oh wait,
Yeah, it's-
lady. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna be
Get
real
there,
with
get
you,
there.
ladies. Ladies, here's why you watch it. Because women like.
No way! Don't do it! Don't do it, OM! Don't do it! Don't
You know what?
dare.
You know what? You
He's
like
already there.
You know what? You
He's
know what?
already
You know what?
there.
You know what? Women like it. Women like it for everything Millie said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
That's a very smart move. I appreciate that.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. With that, let's end the podcast. It was a great night tonight. Thank you all for joining us at Red Rover Republic Podcast with your co-host, Unrealness. Stop. Older millennial. Stop it. Both of you quit. Both of you quit.
I'm dialed in. I'm dialed in. I'm dialed in.
I did. All right. Thank you for joining us on the Red Rover Republic podcast with our co-host Unrealness. Make sure you follow him on TikTok. Also, our co-host Older Millennial. Stop. The Also, follow Older Millennial on TikTok if you haven't already, and on YouTube. Make sure you follow this channel as well if you want to keep up with the shenanigans. Like and follow and comment. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us, Joe. It's been a great night.
Joe, it's been. I hope to see you soon on this show.
Absolute pleasure.
All right,
It's been
guys.
amazing.
Good
Thank you,
night.
guys.
Have a great day. Later.